Don't start.
Too
You
late.
didn't start. You started?
Too late.
You didn't start.
Too late. Yeah, we're live.
Oh, never mind. I was going to say something.
You want to say it
Do it
still?
live.
No,
You
I
can say
can't
it.
say it. It's private conversation, not public conversation.
Oh my
Do it live.
gosh. Do it live.
Do it live. Fuck it.
We're going to do it. I mean, I see everybody but the girl. That record behind you, that's the one.
That's one was wrong.
That's
Wrong.
right. It's a good one.
The ones that are new, I got City in Color. I got Topographies. I can't point. Where's it at over here? Topographies. Oh, and that one is Stunty. Stunty turned me onto this one. Anyway, we'll get into that later.
So welcome everybody. Welcome to Vinyl Community Social Club. I am your host, Senor Rojas. I'm here with the Groove Seeker. Down below, Grover Washington Jr., according to Elliot Cruz, and Joel Static ATX. We may have like a guest later. We'll see if he's gonna stop by. Wait for the room to fill in. Let's look at some comments here for fun. Hank Mobley's birthday today. Wow, we wish you and Ringo Starr a happy birthday, right? So Groove Seeker here. Favorite Hank Mobley album? Anybody in the chat? Groove Seeker.
I would say Soul Station or No Room for Squares.
So he didn't do Kinda Blue, right?
Are you sure?
Oh, shit. He was subbing for Coltrane. Anyway, Sid Barrett died 19 years ago today. Rest in peace. Dark Globe. Welcome, Piper. Piper, we started on time, so none of this, naughty. We did it. Welcome, Tom, High Rant District. Who is Hank Mobley?
What's up, Tom?
Ouch. What a burn. Welcome, Wyoming Dave. I never come across Hank Mobley records. Yeah, because they never sold. They never sold out. But that's why they're rare, right? Man, rough. Welcome, Pat's Radio. Hank Mobley killed Sid Barrett. All right, so Hank Mobley gave Sid Barrett the black triangle, which is like 3 gel caps. That's enough to take you over the edge. Right. I should probably roll duty for this, only if it's legal. Welcome, Vinyl Kicks 86. Welcome.
Nobody rolls a doobie anymore.
What?
Use a pipe, man.
Use a pipe. You mean, or even like chew on a gummy? Is that what you're saying?
I would love to be sponsored. Can I give a shout out? No,
What?
I'd like to give a shout out to Wild WYLD gummies. Please give me a sponsorship.
Really?
Yeah.
Where are they based?
I don't know where they're based, but they are amazing.
Now that's wild. Raspberry. Any other flavors, Joel?
I have pear. Pear's my favorite. I don't have it. They're not in here in the room. This brand, I don't want to get too off topic, but this brand is the best brand. No joke. And I could go into more detail, but I won't.
Good flavor profile.
Heard there is Hank Mobley's birthday celebration this evening. Possibly. Could get wild. I don't think VC hype drives up the price of records. Discogs is far, far, far bigger influence. Wow, Tom. This will be debated.
High Rant District is wrong.
How far am I with these topics? I thought that Hank Mobley was like a candy man, says his name 3 times, and the live stream starts. Whoa, what the? This comment. Here we go. The VC is way too small to drive up anything clickbait topic. No, Piper, wrong, right? Here's the same Piper guy that's like ripping these rare records, right, on his channel, right? And why is he doing this? He's trying to do this to make you feel very small, very jealous that you don't have this rare psych record or proto hard rock record, you know? Man. We were promised Dom. You know what, Piper? Anytime you want to jump up here and, fight your way through this, do your best Dom impression, right? You're more than welcome. Just say the word, Piper, and we will send you the link. But Dom is in the mountains. Yes, that is true, Joel. Welcome, Andy G. Let's see here. Welcome, Daniel. Which VC show has the most impact on record sales? Wow. I'm going to highlight your question. We're going to come back to this. Definitely. Because it's a good one. Welcome to Besh Commode. The best. Oh, here's our guest star. They're here. Whew. Oh, my gosh. Hello.
Hello.
Stunty.
I don't know how I woke up that early, but I did, so why not?
What time is it?
Chris, Joe.
Stunty, can you tell what the record this is from that distance? Probably not.
No, I just see gray and
This is that So Snare record.
Yeah. I see. Oh, nice.
I see my hater, William. Welcome, William.
William, nice.
All right, so there's so many comments. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of them. I do see how relatively recent fad of middle-aged white guys pretending to like jazz has had an outsized influence on the genre, but across all genres, no.
Tonight we're going to talk about records without using Wikipedia. It's going to be a real doozy.
Oh my gosh.
As Chance would say, shots fired, right?
You're going there. Going there.
That's a Concert Buddy copyrighted phrase, I would say.
Yes. Piper is saying, no, I'm sharing the OG with others. Nope. Dave, the pickup artist, welcome. Hank Mobley just arrived with my pizza. Jeez.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch that pizza.
All right, so let's get down to it.
Elliot Cruz with the shots fired.
Is his comment on the bottom? This is a good one. We'll talk about this. Welcome, Mitch. Welcome, Alex. Disco Devil. Where is Elliot's comment? This one, right?
It was the one you just had up. Yeah, that one.
There is no actual VC. It's just random people that put VC in the titles of their videos and streams. Fact.
Why you gotta be such a hater, man?
Man. Well, Elliot Cruz, I dare you to rebrand as VC Tennessee Williams. Do it. You know, just add VC to the name. You know, come on. All right. How did I come up with this topic? Hold up, Grooveseeker, do you want to talk about these one steps? This special? Do you really want to go there? Do you?
I saw polarizing. I had polarizing experiences with one steps today. So first, I'm on the social media this morning, trying to get my day going, and I see Music Direct put a promo up that if you buy their Master Deck turntable, you get five free one steps. So then, fast forward like 3 hours later, I went to a record store when I was traveling. and they had one steps in stock, which was pretty cool to see. For the low price of $169.99. The Bitches Brew is $169.99 in the store, as well as one of the Springsteens that's a double, I think, was $169.99. So I'm just seeing polarizing price tags or value on the one steps from a retail perspective and from music direct perspective. So I thought that was a hoot.
This one's for the Groover Washington. Can you just take $500 off the turntable?
I mean, this is kind of like when VMP did their 12. You renew your subscription, you got 12 free records. I mean, those records just got flooded on Discogs. I guess that'll happen with the one step. I mean, it's a pretty good value to what we were talking about it backstage. It's like a $6,000 turntable with their cartridge, right? So, but yeah, $500 off would be a little bit more appealing.
All right. So let's talk about this topic here. How did I choose this topic? I was on a call with Stunty. We were talking about things, and Stunty asked me, "What is my next topic for this show?" And I said, hashtag MoFiGate, DSDgate. And Stunty was like, "No, please, no, absolutely no."
Thank you, Stunty.
You're welcome.
That. Yes, thank you.
And so then I asked Stunty, okay, if I'm not going to talk about that, then what am I going to talk about? And he came up with this topic.
No, I didn't. I came up with a topic, and then you dumbed it out to whatever that is.
It's a variation, but we're going to get to your topic. Like,
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like half and half, you know? Come on. So, yeah, I'm guilty for the clickbait, as Vinyl Piper has mentioned here. But it's a half and half, Piper. You can't always be serious. Otherwise, you'll be bored and you'll go to some other person's stream. You know, we can't let you do that. We can't. So here, let's go around here. First topic here. What are examples of this VC overhype? Joel, Static ATX, go.
Well, I don't like the prefix over. I don't know that it's necessarily overhype, but I think people are so starving for good music recommendations, especially ones that are maybe a little different than the typical ones you get, that when somebody who's not shows themselves to be knowledgeable in the in the VC or anywhere else recommends something, I imagine there's a little bit of a stampede towards it. I don't know if it's having an effect on the price of records, but I do know that generally, or this is what I believe to be true, generally when you see a lot of the general attitude on YouTube being towards, very praising of original presses, it's no doubt the prices go up, because then that drives up demand, and maybe rightly so,
And that comment by Michael Teeter, also the overpay thing, and that's very subjective. Like, if a record is unavailable unless you pay more than what it has been paid, what has been paid before for that one, if you want it now, and you decide, okay, I want it now, and that's the only way to get it right now, well, you're not overpaying. You're just paying what you want to pay. You're just stating the threshold of your desire for that record. So I understand what he's meaning, but I think it's a little bit looking at your own what is it called, like the belly button, as we say in French.
Yep.
Self-centered, basically.
It is true, because if a store has a record, or whatever, even if it's not a store, if it's just like a person at a convention selling records or whatever, and it's not selling, they're going to lower the price
if they're smart.
Yeah, I don't think usually they will lower down the price, right? If you're the only person selling that record, Do you understand, like, why would you want to lower, you know?
Well, that's as if it's not selling. Granted, I do know some people that just want to keep their wall and they value having the wall more than they value having sales, and they're free to do what they want, but
it's just a matter of strategy and how much you can afford to keep something at that price. And I think that most of the time nowadays, most records that are actually desire will end up selling at whatever price. I mean, unless it is like completely outlandish, but even then, like, who knows? Like, literally, when imagine there's a record, they did 300 copies of it, 500 copies. There's only 2 copies available for sale. One is at $200. One is at $400. The last one that sold was at $20, and then someone comes and puts it at $100. Someone buys it at $100 because it hasn't been available for a year and a half, 2 years, and thinks, oh, it's a good deal. Suddenly, even if it's like 5 times what it has maximum been paid for online. And then suddenly the people who were looking at this ridiculously priced at 200 think, okay, it's twice the price of instead of 10 times the price suddenly. Like, it's just a matter of desire, I think, and how much you know your market about the record that you are like monitoring, basically.
But would you pull the trigger on that scenario, right? Like, if you saw it sell for $20, but that was, say, 3 or 4 years ago, now somebody sells it for $100, do you think that's fair? Right.
It's annoying that I wasn't more reactive before. That's how, at one point, when you realize, well, like, do I want that record or not? And then you realize that, oh shit, I'm living in La La Land right now. If I think that I can, maybe I could find it for on the cheap. I could be lucky. But if I'm after like 200, 300, 500 different records like that, maybe that will happen for 5 of them during my lifetime, maybe 10.
Do you guys?
We're more greedy than wanting to get 10 or 5% of our want list, aren't we?
I think I have a different perspective on this. I think the overhyping in a volatile environment is causing an overcorrection in a certain way. I go back to when we were in COVID, and a lot of these reissues were selling out. I'm not talking about OGs now. I mean, it impacts OGs, which I'll get to my opinions on, but they were reissuing, MoFi was reissuing things, acoustic sounds, whatever, and they were selling out very quickly, and they were unable to keep up with production. The demand resulted in now these titles being overproduced. So there was an artificial hype there, I think, because they weren't available. Then they get overproduced, and now they've saturated the market. You see a lot of these titles go on sale. The resale prices are below retail in a lot of these cases. There's very few reissues now in that niche market that are up in value shortly after they are out and available for sale. And there's very few that actually sell out, right?
Depend on what kind of reissues, but I see what you're talking about, and I would, yeah. There's a big family of reissues that, like, where you would be correct about that. But like the discussion me and Jason had was more actually about how, like, okay, there are records that get hyped so much that price go up, and people complain. The reason is that people complain about how records are too expensive. And my case was that if you are very eclectic in your taste, the more eclectic you are in your music taste, the more you will always be able to find cheap records. Because as we are sort of like a Pavlovian sheep herd. Like if someone, if three person start hyping a record, everyone wants them, and that's been like, I think something we can agree that we've seen on the in the VC. Just remember these rhino reissues of Black Sabbath or of Television. At one point, you would see everyone wanting these when I remember the Television record, like 6 months before, you could still find an original for 30, $40. And suddenly, everyone who had never heard about that record, suddenly it was a classic because people said so. And it kind of is. But when everyone wants the same record at the same time, of course prices are going to go up. But if you think that means that records are expensive, then that just means that you're in a sort of tunnel, in my opinion, because I constantly find records that excite me massively for less than $20 and often for less than $5.
Yeah, I had those experiences today on this weekend shopping where I did find a bunch of records that were under that $20 or $15 range, but they just weren't in good condition, so I didn't buy them. I bought one. But yeah, I'm seeing stuff in the bins that have modern reissues that are double the price. And as part of that hype, which I don't, and to me, it's like, you're splitting hairs on sound difference a lot of times too. Like, I don't think it goes both ways. I mean, you can dissect like the sound quality of them and you can definitely make some conclusions, but like for the most part, if you're not exposed to that difference, like you're not unhappy with the sound. Like, unless you're going down that rabbit hole.
But isn't it also only human to want the cool stuff? Like if I take a genre that not that long ago was probably way too esoteric for most people to just start investigating, modern classical, which means contemporary modern classical music from the 20th century. Well, now I know that, like, for example, our friend Dom, he's not new to that, but he hasn't been collecting stuff like that for 20 years. So he will be more tempted to focus on the shiny objects in that genre, and that's only human. And so sometimes he will show this record that sometimes he will pay like $300-$400 for a record that, like, oh shit, I want it as well. But then there's all these records that you can get for like $5 or less. And I have some spots in the US, Princeton, where you can still find like tons of stuff for cheap if you're willing to take a chance and get some records. I usually make that comparison. Like, I don't know what's the price of a pint in the US, but like in Europe, usually it's quite normal to go and have a pint with your mates every other day at the pub. And like when you drank it, you had like a nice time with your friends. It's kind of an inconsequential gesture. So buying a secondhand record for less than $7 or $5 or less, that's not something I would worry too much about. I would just do it, and then if it turns out to be a good bet, I'm super happy. And if it's not, then you just forget about it.
That's true.
That's more, what do you call that word? You're more frugal, or is that the word? Or a question for you, Stunty, from Roberto Carlos. Do you see it?
Léonie Pernet. I have, yeah. It's quite nice music, yeah.
Sean here is raising a good point here. The hype comes from a newer reissues like the ZZ Top box set, for example. Would there really be a market for this? Aren't used ZZ Top records that difficult to find?
I saw three of that. I saw three copies of that, 3 albums from that box set today, and 2 of them had multiple copies in the bins used.
Vinyl Kicks comment.
This one.
Yeah. I won't call you cheap. I will just call you not there yet.
What?
And I'm not saying that's a positive or a negative. It's just
Shout out to the Rev here. He's got a ask here if anyone has a $30 Marquee Moon OG. Right?
no, Rev, but I have a bunch of records that you don't know about, that you might love very much, that would be under $30 if you wanted to take a chance. When I entered the VC like 4 or 5 years ago, I remember there was one thing I used to say all the fucking time, which is that the vast majority of records ever produced only have one pressing.
Yeah.
And which gives some perspective about what we're actually focusing on. Like if all the records you want have several represses or reissues, that means you're focusing already on the most hyped stuff, because that's not the way the majority of records are.
Mitch here has a comment. The Beatles monobox. Tom, High District. This will be the only Beatles talk we'll have right here. The Beatles monobox, I think, will remain high in price just because it's the Beatles, and they will always hold value. However, Apple would be foolish to not release the titles individually. Right? But that's, according to Tom, that's enough Beatles talk.
I think one of the points that's kind of being made here is that, yes, the Beatles are good, Fleetwood Mac is good, whatever. It's been talked about to death. You don't have to talk about it anymore. Something that's much more interesting is digging down a little bit and coming up with something that maybe is a little bit less known, and let's talk about that a little bit. You know what I mean?
I mean, doesn't it, like when you discover something by yourself on the cheap that really rocks your boat, doesn't that make you feel like more like proud or whatever than just I'll talk for myself. When I buy one of my Grails, often, what is a Grail for me? Well, it's a record that is invisible, that like if I want to buy it now, I won't be able. Money is not the only factor. Like you have to bleed a little bit for a Grail. But that also means I'm probably very much aware of why I want that record. So when I'm getting it, it's almost like that last scene in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, I finally got it. Now I can file it in a way. Whereas, so it probably doesn't give me as much either satisfaction or potential. Like if I show a $400 record, then of avant-garde, experimental, whatever, Dom, Alex, they will see it. Oh, nice, you got it. Okay. But if I show something that they don't know, and I play it and they like it, that's a much more potent thing to do, and something that empowers you a little more, I would say, rather than just checking a box of something that has already been 100% approved by the specialists of whatever genre the record is considered to be part of.
Well, let's think about this a bit, because I think you're hitting on an interesting point, Santi. Like, I don't think the average person. So I think the major labels are being successful with this reissue campaign, and it's obviously fueled by influencers or people who have a forum, whether they're professional, amateur, whatever the case may be. But to your point, Stunty, like the average person isn't going through the pop rock section in a record store and sees like a copy of Marquee Moon and picking it up to try it. They just don't know it.
Yeah.
Like, unless like people aren't, I would think that people aren't really digging for that. And it's like, I think that people may not know that record, and the way they're learning about it is through these channels rather than the discovery thing you're talking about. So I think the reissue labels are smart enough to kind of pick up on that. Because that's not like hard to find music. Like if you do any kind of research on that era of music, like television is going to be mentioned in the first 10 things you read about, right? So I just feel like that they come out with the reissue and then everybody starts talking about it, and people are like, oh, well, that sounds like the next hottest thing, so let me go jump on that. And good for them if they like the band now after that, right? But there's a difference there where it's like, for me, like I love to buy records. Like I went to 2 record stores this weekend. I spent maybe like 3.5, 4 hours in them, and I walked out with 2 things because I just couldn't find something new. Like I'm sick and tired of going through the same stuff that I already have or I don't want or don't need. And I was looking for stuff that I maybe want to try, or maybe something I've been looking for that I couldn't find. So it's like I think there's different experiences that are kind of influencing like the tastemakers, as I like to call them, like the influencers on like what people should buy and what they hype up. Like there's nothing to me, there's nothing esoteric or like uncommon about television. Like most people, if you ever read a Rolling Stone magazine, like who television is. So
I feel like television probably is a bad example because Marquee Moon's been repressed like a million times, even recently. Some of the other, it wasn't just Marquee Moon that got repressed, right? They repressed the first 3, and the others haven't been repressed as often and aren't as well known. I'm also kind of like, I have to be honest with you. I've completely lost what the point we're trying to discuss here. Television's great. They don't need to be hyped up. They're already a legendary band. You don't have to hype them up at all.
Well, that's what I'm kind of getting at, is that those they get reissued, they get hyped up because it's the reissue.
Yeah.
Right. They're not. People aren't. I like how many videos on television exist before the Rhino Hi-Fi came out? Like, not many.
Not many.
Like, so, and I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper. Like, oh well, now you can't like television because it just because it got reissued. It's like,
no,
for me, it's just a little bit out of order.
You don't. It's just about like. But if you complain about prices when you're focusing on the same records that everyone is focusing on, then. Well, that's on you. That's basically my point.
Yeah. Joel, go ahead, Joel.
I'm gonna say something potentially controversial, but I want everyone to just understand, like, it's just my own personal opinion. I personally do not watch videos from people who are hyping whatever, the people you're talking about that are hyping. Some of it's going to be stores, right? And stores need to promote the things that they're selling. And then there's people, quote, influencers or whatever, who talk about stuff for whatever reason. I don't give a shit what the reason is. I don't watch them, and I don't recommend other people watch them. The videos that I like to watch are the people that have an actual interest in music, and I can tell by the way they talk about it.
But can't you be both?
Huh?
Joel, can't you be both? Can't you be an influencer by default? Like, I think I hated the word influencer, and I came to accept that that to a certain extent I am an influencer. Like, if I buy a new record that is unknown and I showcase it, play it, and they have a press run of 300 copies, and if within a couple of days after I played it, they sell 30 copies, I fucking sold 10% of the whole batch of that record.
Let me
influencer.
Let me clarify.
Whether I like it or not.
When I use the word influencer, and I'm not talking about people like you, Stunty, or Dom, or Jason. What I'm talking about when I talk about influencer are the people that make videos just for the sake of making videos, hyping up whatever the latest thing is. And I know we're all picturing in our head who we're talking about. Those are the people I'm not interested in. I'm not talking about, I know you love music. I can tell. You watch your stream, you love music. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well,
and I haven't seen one honest, like me personally, I've not seen anybody make a video where they mention television in an honest way. I've seen people talking about it because they own a store and they want to talk about they got the latest reissue and they want people.
We're excited to get it and discover it while it was hyped and contributing to that hype. And sometimes it can be fun to watch someone being excited about something, even if you don't need that. I don't necessarily need that, but maybe there's all sorts of reason to watch a VC video, I would say. Like, and when people say, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Negative, but let's ask, for example, Dave the pickup artist why he watches this video or that video, and he seems to enjoy it for whatever reason he does. What might you say?
But I think it's unfair that Black Sabbath, Rhino Hi-Fi comes out, and maybe you're not into Black Sabbath, but there's this mass hysteria, like the record's never been heard before. Like you can't go get a copy that's not Rhino Hi-Fi. Like that's the mind-boggling part of this. And I think Joel has said this quite a bit, and I've said it before too. It's like that everybody's collection is starting to get what's the word, Joel? Homogenized.
Yeah. Like everyone has, it's like here's your VC starter pack. Here's the 20 albums you have to own before you can get serious about
every channel that does videos, titles, stuff like 10 records in that genre that you need to have, or the 10 records to start a collection of jazz and all that. Like I can't take any of these videos seriously. Therefore, maybe I can't take these people seriously. I don't know. Sometimes, our friend Chance, he has like a certain type of clickbait videos, like the 10 records that sold for most on eBay this month. That's a clickbait, 100%, and he would acknowledge that, which means that some people can do one thing and another thing that serves different purposes, and I don't need to essentialize someone just for one thing they do that I dislike. But I could if I want. Like, there's no rules. Ice Castles, huh? Like, Rev, you've been doing some really bad work in the world.
I like it when people if people want to make 10 a video of the 10 albums that they like, and it's like stuff that's a little bit off the beaten path, and maybe they correlate it with maybe something more well known. I'm personally okay with that. Like, I like videos like that. But when it's like, here's the top 10 industrial records, number 1, 9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. It's like, come on, dude. Like, no one needs that video. No one needs that.
I will make a parallel also with the time when people were still buying DVDs. Like, Blu-rays, that was already when people started to stop buying these because we had alternatives. But I remember in the early days, or like I assume all of us had at one point some friends who were collecting VHS, Laserdisc, or DVDs. And I wasn't, because in my world, there's only that many movies that I want to watch more than one time in my life. Life is too short. There's so much to want to discover. And so I thought, like, back in the day, the people who were really into that sort of collection, usually it was pretty easy to identify which edition was something that was desirable, because it had the best transfer, best bonus features and stuff like that. So that meant that most collectors of movies had extremely similar collections, because like everyone wanted to have, for example, the best edition of Godfather, of Scarface and all that, which meant that when I didn't need to have these movies, because I had people who had them. Like, everyone who was collecting them would have it. So it was easy to access, especially for something that I wanted to only experience one time in my life. But one day I broke my leg and my arm on the same side, and I was stuck in a bed for 4 months. And then I got a DVD player, and I started to order cheap DVDs from Canada, because there was a time in the early 2000s like that, and I was only ordering stuff that was cheap and that no one cared about, but that I did want to see at least one time in my life, like B movies, stuff like that. And if you transfer that pattern in records, like if you buy the records that everyone wants to have, that are like the official good taste or whatever, the 10 must-haves of whatever genre, as you were saying, Joel, or Elliot, or Chris, maybe you don't need to own these records because someone around you will own them already, or it will be easy for you to access that on a streaming service or whatever. But what is it that you need to own? Well, the stuff that you don't have access to, by definition, in my opinion.
People talking mad shit in the stream, dude.
Well,
If you want to talk shit, you got to come on the pod. You got to come on. Then you get to talk shit.
Jazzy Jeff here. Marky Moon is a masterpiece, but the reissue was the only way to get it, as the OG is too expensive.
It wasn't. That's not true, Jazzy Jeff. Like it depends. I mean, everyone has their threshold, so I have to be fair. Like, but you could, like, when that record was released, I can still find it here for around like $40.
There's 74 pressings of. There's so many pressings of Marky Moon. I have a hard time believing you couldn't find an OG for inexpensive. And what even is an OG? What are you counting? Since there was like 20 pressings in 1977. There you go.
Is that going to show up? How much is that?
August 2018, $3.69.
What?
Yeah.
It's not a rare record.
The conversation of like, are record labels fucking up with the things they choose to reissue? That's a fun conversation to have, and the answer is yes. But there's no reason to attack television. They're a great band.
No, I'm not attacking television. That's not. I'm using it as an example. It's the first thing that came to mind because I saw 76 copies of it today on an end cap in a record store. So
side topic here. So Vinyl Piper raised that comment earlier about who would watch. Let me try to find his. Here it is.
He was responding to me.
It, right. He's saying nobody needs a top 10 industrial LP video. Of course, people need it. It's helpful to people who don't know the genre. Right?
If you are interested in the genre, you don't need it. You will investigate and you will figure out by yourself. If I think someone to tell you, then as Joel was saying, you will get the same. Like the people who will do this kind of videos will try to go to the lowest common denominator. So you don't need it. Like Joel is right on this, in my opinion. I see where you're coming from, Vinyl Piper, but like the nature of these videos is not virtuous. Like if there were, then you would be right. But like we have enough experience with these kinds of videos to know that like that will just be frustrating. And if you don't know anything about industrial music, like who watches with the intent to buy stuff? Oh, okay, I don't know anything about industrial music, probably because I'm not that into it, or I don't know it. But then if the video just tells you the same names that you already heard, because these lists are afraid in a way to most often, from my experience. Like as you were saying, you will have, okay, as the VC is largely American, a list like that would go, okay, Skinny Puppy, maybe Throbbing Gristle if they want to be a little bit edgy, even if like they can't be a list without Throbbing Gristle. 9 Inch Nails, Ministry, maybe the Revolting Cocks, like basically all the stuff that is like already dumbed down in a way, that is made into songs, made into rock or whatever. Whereas like if you want a top 10 of industrial records, you'll have Nurse with Wound, Coil, Soviet France, Muslim Goes, Nocturnal Emissions, Bourbonese Quark,
Then you
Hoffler.
got to go deeper. You got to go deeper, man.
It's
Deeper.
not even the deeper. That's where it starts. That's
I
what
know.
it is. Then it becomes something else, and that's the dumb out version, in my opinion. But
I think it's a little bit different. We're going around. One thing that's overlooked here is that most of those top 10 videos consist of reissues from the past 18 months.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what drives the top 10.
maybe
I'm going to say something else controversial. I like reissues.
I do too.
I like them. I like reissues better than OGs. You know, I piss on OGs.
well, you're
No, because I think it goes both ways, right? In the same sense that I don't like people making videos that are like top 10 and they just make the most obvious choices. I also don't like it when people are like, here's my 10 favorite records and they're so damn obscure you're never going to find them. You know, like here's one that only I know because it was recorded by my buddy, you know, or some, you know what I mean? It's like, so I'm going to just bring this up real quick. Dom, who I like this guy. I feel like we could be like, you know, really good friends. He did a video the other day on Flying Gun, and he mentioned records you can't get.
No,
He
can
mentioned
get
this
it.
record. No, you can't.
You can get these records, but you can't get them easy. And that's
Yeah.
when was record collecting supposed to be easy? I mean,
It is. Wait, hold on. I agree with you on a lot of things. I don't agree with you on this idea that a record has to be expensive or hard to find in order for me to like it.
Oh, I never say that.
He mentioned this record from this group called Marie and the Atom, and the way he was describing it, I was like, I want to listen to this now. Like, I don't want to listen to it tomorrow or next week or a month now. I want to listen to it tonight. Can't find it anywhere. It's not on YouTube. There's none available on Discogs. It's not streaming, and I want to hear it.
And you still want to hear it, even
I
after
do.
you discovered that it's not going to be easy.
I do,
you're part of the VC.
I'm part of the VC. I did it.
And also, you forgot to disclose that, like, with like your kinship with Dom and you peeing on records. Before you say that, you had to disclose that you're really into golden showers as well. So.
Yeah, I was
Dom, pee on me. Pee on me.
I do like watching Don's videos as well as your videos. You played this track from a compilation, and my computer shut off, and I had it saved, and I'm gonna have to rewatch your video to figure out what the name of that compilation was. It was by Ab something, Ab Stacky or something. You know what I'm talking about? It's AB something. It has some weird name, and he did like a compilation of different songs.
What kind of genre of music was it?
Good music. It was like some probably modern classical, something in that realm. It was on your last video.
Okay.
I'll go back and look at it again. I should have added it to my want list, but my like I said, my computer crashed and I couldn't. Anyway.
But isn't it interesting though that we and I understand, like me too, when I discover something, I hope it's going to be available. I hope it's going to be cheap. I hope, because I want it now. But remember before the internet. Like none of us here were born yesterday. Like you discovered that something existed that was already half of the fun. Like, oh, this exists and I want it. And maybe I'll be able to get it at one point in my life before I die. That's how when you wrote your want list back in the 90s, Chris, don't you remember that? You were just like you were buying a music magazine and there was advertising by these record shops. Oh, in 2 weeks comes this 12-inch with a remix by Aphex Twin. Oh, I hope I'm going to be able to get it, fully knowing that your local record store might not get it, but you had to write it down because this is something I'm interested in. And even if I don't get it when it's released, it's going to be on my radar now. And hopefully, like 10, 15, 20% of all this stuff that I was listing, I might end up finding it if I'm focused on this. You had to be focused.
Yeah, so I think what you're getting at too is a socialization of the information as well, because instead of you having to go to a print media publication and almost like self-educate, now I think the problem that we're struggling with is that this is getting served to us, and it's getting served on what's being produced now, and that's dictating the taste because it was just produced. It was just mass produced for reissue. Right.
And if you've been too accustomed to the culture of Amazon, where you see something you want, you can just go online, click it, and 4 days later it's at your doorstep. We're spoiled with that.
No, we are. I guess this is the thing that shocks me, is that I'm probably the youngest out of all of you guys, not by much, but the thing is, it's like when I see people older than me, I'm assuming they're older than me, like talking about television like it's something. I'm not going to pick on television anymore.
How dare you, sir?
Talking about like, Black Sabbath's Paranoid is like something that no one's ever heard, and like the hype just goes nuts on that record. Like everybody knows it's a goddamn great record if you're into that music. So it's like this. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like this. There's not as much discovery and influence on what needs to be found versus what already has been found and being regurgitated to everybody else. Just go pick up a Rolling Stone from 1970 and look at it and say like, okay, this is what was hot then, and did that carry over now? And those are your quote unquote best albums ever. But because it's reissued now, it's like top of mind again. It's like it's always been there.
I think I have another analogy. Joel, what would be an album that you're after, that you've been after for quite some time, that is maybe above your means, but that you really wish you could get eventually?
An OG copy of Too Dark Park, but I will pay any amount of money for it if I see it in the wild.
Sure, but imagine, that record is something from Skinny Puppy that you really want, and I do a video and I show it.
How you have a copy? I'll buy it from you.
No, but if, I have it, I show it, and this is my latest find. What part of your brain do you think it triggers, compared to what part of your brain you think it triggers when I show this So Sneer record that you had no idea of its existence before I showed it and played it, and you think you want it, and then you get it? I think it's two different. Like the Too Dark Park one, I think it's the same part of your brain as when you're watching porn. I think so.
There's all kinds of crazy shit goes through my head when I'm watching porn. Go ahead.
No.
No, but seriously, when you think about it, okay, you already know the record, so at best you'll be happy for me, and maybe it's cool to see someone in real life touching this porn star of yours. Whereas this thing that you didn't know before, it's not possible that it hits the same section of your brain when I show this record you didn't know about before. It's impossible.
Stunty, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not quite sure what point you're trying to make, but if you were to tell me what was I more excited about, if I had an OG copy of Too Dark Park I found at my local store tomorrow, or when I bought this record right here, this one right here that you told me about, I was more happy to find this record, because honestly, like, I would buy a copy of Too Dark Park, but I know I can get it anytime I want. That's one of those things. I'm going to be happy when I see it in the wild, but I'm somebody who I will always love discovering something new, even though this technically isn't that new. I mean, I know Stefan, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I know him well enough to know that it's not truly new for me, but anyway, I would take something new over at any time. And the person in chat that says, do I like the Tester 12-inch? Come on. Is that a serious question? Yes, I love Tester. That's one of the greatest songs ever made, as is everything that Skinny Puppy ever did.
That's devotion. I'm
not even sure I would call Tester brutal. It's a pretty friendly, club-friendly song. If you want to talk brutal, get Too Dark Park and then come back and talk to me. or some New Boughton. I have some brutal stuff I could show you right over here. This is my section of my collection over here that I would consider brutal. Not the Colt. Forget the stuff that's in the front. But I have some brutal stuff over here that's really good. This right here, Maybe Manifesto, not necessarily brutal, but absolutely necessary to own. Anyway. You like Front 242 Headhunter? Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. Let's talk about the top 10 industrial club songs or EBM club songs. We put Headhunter number 1. That'll be an interesting video for somebody, not for me. Brutal Early Swans, yes.
Yeah, Headhunter is like kind of the like EBM song that is the number 1 EBM song. So yeah.
Someone asked, I got to see Swans live. I was happy about it. The Too Dark Park reissue sounds good to me. I'm not going to sit here and we're not going to do a shootout of Too Dark Park OG versus reissue.
You're going to golden shower it as much as you can.
The problem with the Skinny Puppy reissues isn't the music. It's how little care they put into the packaging. There's no inserts. The sleeves were lazily done. Network, to me, whoever made that decision should be arrested. You could tell they put no love into it. Music, if you're not going to love it, then don't fuck with it. Just leave it alone and give them. Actually, you know what they should do? This is what they should do. They should give the music back to the band. Same thing with The Process, American, whatever the label's name. They need to give that album back to the band. Let the band put some love into it. You know. Anyway, you got me fired up in the chat.
You're fired up.
That's good. That's good. It's interesting though that as soon as we discuss industrial, this become sort of like a very American conversation, performative. Which one is the most brutal, or like suddenly. It becomes like we have to start a sort of scale. Because like in like X Prince Protégé then would be correct. White House is way more brutal than any American industrial rock band, like for sure. But it's also unlistenable.
I would agree with the person that said Steely Dan is brutal, because I would agree with that. I'm not a Steely Dan fan. I'm sorry. Someone mentioned Clan of Zymox. What about it? Is Clan of Zymox in the Front 242 commonly loved?
Nah.
Clan of Zymox is a goth band. It has nothing to do with Front 242.
It's like they have one song, Moscovite Mosquito, that was never even released as a single, which is weird. Like it's an expensive record. That's the song that you would play in a golf club, indeed. But
okay,
it's cool. It's actually pretty cool.
Zymox's album, Twist of Shadows. That's the quintessential album.
And it's been reissued. Clan of Zymox sounds like a disease you get in 1979 from listening to too much Steely Dan with your girlfriend. I'm just throwing that out.
Well, imagine also that their biggest song was called Moscovite Mosquito, so it kind of goes along what you just said, Chris.
There you go.
Yeah.
I literally, like on my latest stream, I showed a 7-inch of Sisters of Mercy, Adrenochrome, which is their rarest one, but also with their 2 most club-friendly songs, I would say. And, well, it's a goth band. Or back in the 80s and early 90s, we would say they're a goth band. But now, when people say that The Cure and Susie and the Banshee are post-punk, like suddenly, like what are there? Like these tracks, there's not even a drummer. There's a drum machine, which is not very gothy, unless you are Sisters of Mercy or Alien Sex Fiend. But that's about it. Like, yeah.
Point of order. I love Alien Sex Fiend. I love how like we bring Stunty on and we get to like the industrial and goth talk just takes over the podcast.
Well,
we're not talking about Beatles no more. Leibach is great. I love Leibach. And Leibach did an album of Beatles covers. Hey,
Leibach.
Oh, sorry.
You know, it's like when
My bad.
Yeah. It's like when Mazzy sees a Beatles record, he doesn't have laid back.
So let's bring it back. The solution.
We're way far away. Dude.
You don't want to go back?
I don't even know where we are anymore, let alone going back. Okay, do your thing.
Groove Seeker.
Yes, sir.
Let take us back, please. Take us
back to where? I don't know where we are. I feel like I'm at a Fish show. Second set, song 3. I don't know where I am.
You see? This record.
What is that record?
Can you go a little closer
We'll
so the VC can look it up?
Switch me.
This cost me less than $5. I didn't know it, but then I look at the credits and I see, oh, George Lewis on trombone. I like George Lewis. I don't like all his records, but it's $5. There's flute, percussion, and trombone. That's why it's a $5 record. But maybe it will have some greatness in it. And if it does, I'll play it, I'll share it, and then probably 5-10 people will want to get it since it's a super cheap record. And then the next week, when all the cheap copies are bought, well, then it's not a cheap record anymore, because the sellers will. Yeah.
Hype it.
You just hyped it.
Way to go.
No, I didn't hype it because I haven't listened to it yet, actually.
But by showing it, right?
Yeah.
By showing it, right?
Can you go back to Piper's comment?
This one.
It's not dictating the taste. It's bringing older music to someone who wasn't aware. There is nobody in the VC. Okay, sorry. There's 99% of the people in the VC are on the verge of their fucking AARP card, Piper. Are you out of your mind? I'm one of the youngest, and I have white hair in my beard. You're telling me that people don't know about these records? That's insane.
Well, so to be fair, not everybody who watches these videos are part of the elite. Who know all the. There is an element of that to it, because let's not television isn't Fleetwood Mac.
What?
So
no way.
So I would agree that everybody knows Rumors, but I don't think everybody knows Marquee Moon. I think a lot of people do. I just don't think that everybody does. So
I mean, it took me.
I
discovered Marquee Moon in 1990, 91, maybe around the early 90s. I think I still have to yet listen to Rumors in its entirety.
Really?
That's a travesty because it is a great album.
Probably, but do I need to listen to it? No.
We don't need to listen to anything.
Exactly. Great point.
Because there we go. That's the hashtag right there. You don't need to listen to Rumors. You don't need to.
And if I want to, I don't need to own it. It will be so easy to access. If I want to know stuff about it, it will be so. There's Wikipedia pages about albums now. I can probably spend 20 minutes reading about Rumors before having even heard it. Just imagine how it was in the 90s. You were literally, and even in the early 2000s, I was buying. Like you guys, I was buying records just to figure out if it was good for me.
So a request from the Rev here to Stunty.
Can I choose who you kill, Rev?
We need Jason to cut away and play "Go Your Own Way." Can you do that?
If I go to Stunty stream on Friday and I hear Dreams, I'm never coming back.
Please do it. Now he has to. He has to do it.
Right. And
that would be the biggest.
Rev is charged for, double murder or something,
We all know, like, listen, rumors is not to dwell on this for too long, but the reason rumors is so great is not just because the music is good, but it has a good story. It not only is a good story, but it's a story that everybody knows. It's a relatable story. You know what I
And that
mean?
story will be available to me
Yeah,
whenever I feel that it's time for
that's
me.
true. It's true. I'd rather you listen to Too Dark Park, but you have played Skinny Puppy though. I've heard you play it.
Oh yeah. I have. Yeah, I still listen to Bytes regularly.
So Decoy Cards here makes he's making a hot take. The VC causes its own problems because majority assume too much about what others know or want. Response to
fuck
this.
The VC, man. Fuck the VC.
No, but I can give you I can give you a good example. Like, I discover a new rabbit hole, an artist that I maybe I knew about him before or not, but I didn't dig deep into his discography. And then, for example, it's someone who has like 30 records I want, and I start playing the records as I get them before having all these 30 records. Then I make other people aware of it before I'm done with my hunt. So I shoot myself in the foot by doing that, because suddenly people who have way bigger means than me can get these copies of these records that, like, it will take me a long time to gather the budget to get them if I want them. So it's the VC causes it's all sorts of problems, but it's also a virtuous problem. Like, okay, I just accept that if I start to share about a band that I'm still on the hunt for, well, I'm doing something good for other people by introducing it to them. And maybe they will reward me with views, with whatever, with the risk of... there's a trade-off, basically, when you're sharing your knowledge or your enthusiasm, or both.
Hey, Shanti, I want to make a deal with you, live on air in front of everybody.
Oh no.
There's a whole...
I'm not into golden showers.
No, this is not P related. There's so many records that I want that are super cheap in Europe, but I can't afford to ship them all over here. If there's ever anything you want that's like cheaper in America that I can get for you, and we can do like a swap, and I can give you some names of some cheap stuff, because I like To Rococo Rot. There's a few other records I still need. Anything like that in that same realm. Not to mention, I still have like a mile-long list of industrial records that I really want.
And bear in mind, I have quite a few doubles.
Yeah, and Zolvia France, I will take anything. If you have doubles of any of that, I will take it. Or even if you don't even want to do a trade, even if I'll just pay and you just ship it over here. I do want to try. Decoy mentioned go to Europe. I'm telling you, I've been to Spain. I'm telling you, I want to go to the UK, spend like probably 2 or 3 weeks going around all the stores. Then I need to go. I was going to go to Germany, but someone told me they don't really have a lot of stores over in Germany. So I need to do some research on where the stores are. But I also need private collectors, the people just, I would go over there and one suitcase won't be enough. I'm going to need like a lot of suitcases.
Well,
you mean you're going to get a pallet and then get it shipped to you or whatever?
I could do that. Because the records I like Stunty mentioned, like they're like $5-10. They're not expensive records. It's just as expensive to ship them over here, And there's even when there are a little bit more expensive, it's still, the shipping is murder. I thought once we became more global as a the internet made us more global, shipping prices still suck, and we need to fix that.
Well, it's privatized shipping that sucks. Like when it was state-run, not for profit, it was great. Like the late 90s. eBay started in 1998. Like between 1998 and I'd say 2005, that was a golden age of like global record buying. Like that was amazing. But back then you didn't realize it was just normal.
Yeah.
But like I think that nowadays, like when we think about like the patience you need to have to get certain records, like finding strategies for the shipping is also part of the art of getting records nowadays. Because, yeah, like some people can afford to pay 3 times in shipping the price they paid for the record itself. But most people will like, ugh. I mean, it depends also. Like if there's a record that you know is worth like $30 and you find it for 5 and you have to pay $20 for shipping, you're still making a good deal. But psychologically, it's a tough pill to swallow. Oh yeah. But there's a shitload of records in the US, and in the US you have Media Mail and you have a shitload of record stores, so you should be good.
Yeah, there's so many things that I want that there's no sellers in America. In honestly, like that's why I love the record conventions, because I love it when I find a seller that has something like, has that thing.
Yeah, except for that one guy. Let's not go there.
One guy.
That one guy. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Yes, you do. He's
what
the
guy?
one guy with
Dude, why'd you make me think about him? God damn it, dude. I haven't thought about him in so long.
Jason, like all this conversation just makes me feel that Joel is ripe for Den Bosch.
Yes.
I'm right as far what?
You're ripe for Den Bosch, the biggest record fair in the world, in the Netherlands.
I know. When I saw that video that who was it? Someone made a video where they went over there and they bought a bunch of stuff. Made me so jealous. My wife would kill me if I did that, though. But one of these days, I'm just gonna have to do it anyway.
Two problems solved at the same time, then.
Dude, she might watch this video. You can't be saying that. You won't pay for a record to be shipped. You'll pay to ship yourself to. Yes, I will. I rant. Yes, I will. Because the ROI is me being there and discovering it myself, rather than roll the dice. Why are you laughing, guys?
That's a one hell of a comment here. One hell of a comment.
Yeah, because it'll be cheaper. You don't think it'll be cheaper for a plane ticket to the Netherlands?
Might be, yeah. So maybe your wife won't kill you after all.
Yeah.
Den Bosch also has the second largest golden shower convention the week after, so you can just make it a 2-week trip.
You guys are giving me a reputation. It's my own fault, and I apologize for that.
Give us this, we'll take that. That's the VC. Yeah. But yeah, I just think again to go back to some of their original extended topic, like when you go to a place like that, like a big record fair, if you only focus on the stuff that everyone is talking about that you want, and if you only go for that reason, then you're missing on a lot. Usually when I go to record fair, I want maybe 15-20% of my purchases to be the stuff I'm really after that's difficult. I try to stay realistic. Then maybe 30% more of stuff that I'm actually after, is after, and 50% stuff that like is new to me. Because if it's new to me, there's a good chance it's gonna be new for everyone else, and that makes for more fun stuff to share. Like again, like Jason, like today, what record has been your longest focus?
Longest focus?
Yeah, that you don't have. If you actually care to share it.
That I don't have. That I don't have.
Yeah.
Just make one up. Make one up.
Can't
No,
say
it has to
Fleetwood
be
Mac
real.
rumors now. Fuck.
You have that great record behind you. I didn't even notice that before. Is that Tori Amos underneath the Sam Cooke?
Yes,
I love that album.
it's a good one. Yeah, I can talk about something. Sure. I think I did tell Stunty about this or somebody else. There is a record that's coming in the mail for me. I've been wanting it since it came out in 94. Now, it was impossible to get because it was 94, as you all know. I think 94 or 96 or 95, but right, they weren't making that much vinyl, right? So then...
Depends on the music genre. Techno, that was kind of, there was... That was
well, they were in a
point.
cross between. Basically, Joel has the Love record there. I'm talking about the Cult record from 1994, right? When they tried to go a more grunge route. I know it's been reissued, but I always wanted that original that came out in Beggar's Banquet, and it's difficult to get. So, just to be honest with Stunty, that is one that's on my radar. I wanted to go see them on that tour in 94, but they broke up.
Did you have a CD of that record?
Yeah, I did at the time.
So now when you're going to get it, when it's going to arrive in the mail for you, which you just said that's what's going on right now, right?
Yes.
So don't you think, and there's quite a few people who are after that record, am I correct?
Yes, but I mean, it's also available. I mean, at a price, right? It's not necessarily rare anymore since it had been reissued, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right. But it's still something that had been on my radar for a long time. You know?
So why?
But
you think is this one of those things where you think the original sounds better?
I'm about to find out. I just know that I'd played the reissue and it was so compressed, you know, where I was kind of like, this is not the way I heard this record, you know, on the CD or on the radio, you know.
But isn't there also just the part of you that just wants it?
Of course.
So, like, when you're getting it, apart from the shout out aspect of it, you already know that record by heart. It's just like a box you feel you need to tick, which is perfectly legitimate, huh?
Correct. I mean, that's been on my want list for a long ass time. I always, you know, like I patiently waited for that thing to go under 100. It never has, you know, despite it being reissued. This is a record that does not go down.
Yeah.
You know?
But for example, like Joel, you were mentioning Soviet France. In the past, like 4 or 5 years, all the Soviet France records have been reissued on vinyl by Vinyl on Demand, including ones that had never been issued on vinyl. And these were offered for like about $30 each, like double LPs and stuff like that. So getting these records that had never been issued on vinyl that I didn't have on CD, there's still the discovery part when I get them. That's a very different kind of excitement I get from these records than a record that is a grail for me that I know already, because it's like getting an original of Loveless, for example, a record I discovered when it was released, but I bought on CD back then. I got an original eventually, and I'm very happy about it, but it's very, very different type of excitement than getting something that you still are getting to discover, which is, I guess, the original reason for buying records. Now we're collectors as well a little bit.
Can we quickly talk about vinyl on demand and how it's not really vinyl? It's a misleading name, because I demand it and I didn't know about them when they were first being repressed, and now I can't get them. So I demand it, and he's not pressing anymore. I asked him, and he said no. So not that.
Jason, I think Arnaldo is getting challenged for the complainer in chief here.
He didn't say anything about seam splits. He didn't say anything about warped records.
I'll take them with a seam split, please. Honestly, Soviet France has so many records. I don't know what I would do with all of them. There was not enough time in the day for me to listen to all of them.
What is a lot? Here's a good topic, maybe. What's a lot of record for a band? What's like the when does it start to be like, oh, this is almost too much? Soviet France has 30 albums. Full
Over
disclosure.
30. Well,
No.
the thing is, not only is it a lot of albums, they're not all the same, right? I love Soviet France. It doesn't mean I'm going to like every one of their albums. I'd have to listen through them and see which ones, I liked more than others, and then it takes a lot of time, and I would want to spend that time doing it because of like what legends they are, you know. So I don't know. I say too many. All I'm saying is that, like, if someone said, "I'll sell you a copy of all 30 of them," that would be, what am I going to do? Just dedicate the next, year of my life listening to nothing but Soviet France? I still want to listen to other things too.
Yeah.
Not just so. Anyway.
Yeah, it's a completely different thing. Also, if you already started to get records from that band, if you're already underway, or if you're like, I remember Michael 45 when I started to do videos with him and talk with him, and it became obvious that that Nurse's Wound was a band I was very much interested in, and he told me that he's not even gonna start buying them because he's too late in the competition, which I think is not the best way to look at it. I think it's the wrong way, but because you don't need to have them all. But sure, we want to have everything that we want, that we like. That's maybe
I take back what I said. I take it back. I'll take them all. If you have them, I'll gladly take them.
What?
Yeah.
Do you know this band, Deform?
Yeah.
They're like a little more on the gothier side of things.
Sort of like neoclassical.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I love them as well, and I would love to have some OGs on CD or vinyl, if you have any.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
Yeah, I have the only albums I have of theirs are split.
We're getting along so well.
Yeah, well, I have some of theirs because of they did split album with Asmus Stitchens, and I have here's someone who has probably like 60, 70 albums, but I got all the ones I like, which is about 30, including all the side projects.
Wait, sorry, I missed the beginning part. The side projects of who?
Asmus Stitchens, who started in krautrock in the late 70s with bands like Cluster and stuff like that, and who's still active. It's the Hamburg scene in Germany.
I don't know.
Here's a question for Stunty. Can Stunty please comment on what the mosh pit was like at the final Sabbath show? I saw him blindside Jason Momoa in a TikTok video. Now Aquaman 3 is canceled.
Actually, I had quite a few friends who were at that show. That I've seen videos of them.
Really?
There. Yeah. Like there's a guy who was there who was supposed to be at my festival, at my music festival, and now the guy was enjoying himself like in the mosh pit at the stadium, and there's plenty of videos of him on Instagram about that. So it looked like, to be fair, as much as I have zero interest in that cash grab, people who were there seem to have a lot of fun. So good for them.
Correct.
By the way, Momoa was moshing during Pantera, not during Black Sabbath. And I can't really blame him because Pantera is amazing.
So you're saying Jason Momoa was in a stretcher, he missed the whole Sabbath.
No, he was probably there, but when he went out into the crowd and was moshing, that was when he introduced Pantera and told everyone he was going to go into the mosh pit, and then he did, right as they were playing their first song. And it's okay, Vinyl Kicks, if you don't like Pantera, that's cool. Everyone's, free to have bad opinions and horrible taste in music.
What
when it comes to metal, Pantera is great, and you don't have to agree. It's all good. And I'm talking about Pantera with Dimebag. I'm talking about the OG. Anyway, I'm from Texas. You have to like Pantera here. You're not allowed in the state if you don't like the Pantera.
I didn't know like that Joel has that much clout and power in Texas. Like I don't know if I'll take my chances anymore. Like for me, Pantera is like a one-song band, but
that's cool. I mean, to me, Pantera is like growing up, teenage years.
Like long hair. What's the name of the singer of again?
What is the name of?
Phil Anselmo. Long hair's Phil Anselmo. That's with like velvet clothes. That's something to behold. Like the two first Pantera albums. That's
those are collectibles now.
It's like horrible glam rock music. Yeah, I love it when it's Wyoming Dave who's like on the support, like the for me, there's only one band in metal that I care for, and that's a brutal band, and it's Godflesh. I'll take Godflesh over anything Pantera. Which it's funny because they did actually biomechanical remixes of Walk on the single. There was, I think, it's funny, like that's the connection between like kind of industrial music and Pantera. They had remixes by Jim Fetus, and Godflesh in 92, 93, whenever Walk was a thing. Which apparently Phil Anselmo hated. It was like the label that decided to do that.
Wow, Iron Maiden over Pantera. Joel, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I'm not going to hate on Iron Maiden.
Why? It's so easy.
Dude. Oh, okay. Bring him in. You see it. I know you see it.
Well, I sent him the link via
Look at his
Instagram.
his next comment.
I know he's asking for a fight here. So,
I'm not going to fight. Like, if someone wants to fight me about Skinny Puppy, I will. I'm not going to fight about Pantera. If you don't like Pantera, it's cool. Listen. They're a band that never, it didn't get to, I don't know, man.
Ombre has the link in the Instagram.
But
you just
isn't
check
like
your Instagram.
like now we're all back to this debate of like should we separate the artist and the man with Pantera as well?
What?
I think so. I mean,
What man are you talking about?
It's just coming from me. I mean, I was at Columbus, Ohio, like when that whole incident with Dimebag. Well, the incident ended badly, All right, here's our last guest of the evening. We'll give him 15 minutes, and we'll welcome Ombre.
I didn't see that you sent me the link. I would have joined earlier. Keep sending it to me, but I didn't see that you sent it.
What is that shirt? Is that a Merzbow shirt? Isn't that the same one you were wearing last time?
Maybe it's my labels. So it's like my what do you call it? Like my uniform.
Marketing.
No, it's my uniform, and it's also my pajamas.
So this is for Joe. I'd be interested in watching a top 10 Pantera album.
I don't think they have 10 albums, Pantera.
Oh, really?
It would be
probably have like 4 or 5.
No, they probably have like 8.
No, they don't have 10. Even if they did have 10, they don't have 10 good ones.
So I was working in Ozfest in 2000.
Well,
hold on, Jose. Hold on.
Jose.
Let me name drop first. So I was working in Ozfest in either 2002 or 3 in Hartford, Connecticut, and one of the jobs I had was to escort Phil when he was in Down. Down was on that bill.
What?
Escort him from his trailer to the meet and greet. And it's not that cool of a story, but he was kind of a dick. and
Oh,
he had like an entourage of like, you know, tier 10 models with him, and he was absolutely hammered out of his fucking mind, and he's just an asshole. But that's my
Oh man,
Pantera story. But he was with Down was on the bill. He was on like the second stage, I think. Yeah.
Wait, remind me, like Pantera, isn't it the band like where like literally like Dimebag and couldn't be in the same room, like they would like kill each other at
yes,
once.
yes, this is true.
Well,
yes.
you know, Dimebag Darrell, he could be alive today, but he was like, no, my guitar. He could have done this and pull his guitar up, and he would still be alive.
Oh my gosh, you've never been to the Alrosa, have you?
No, but they didn't shot him like immediately. They were like, and then shoot him. So he could have
like I feel we have an elephant in the room now. Like people say that he's a dick, a douchebag.
He's a semi-white supremacist.
Yeah. That's the problem. Unless you're into that sort of thing.
When I was a kid and I liked metal.
Sorry for being white.
This comment right here. Jeez.
When I was a kid and I liked metal.
Yeah,
when
I was a kid and I liked metal, I thought
that's my favorite sentence of the whole stream. When I was a kid and I liked metal. ...
No, because you know, I was thinking Saturday when the Black Sabbath thing was going on. First of all, I fucking hated most of it. I hate with a passion. Even before the guy from Disturbed said a bunch of shit, I hate his voice, anyways. But
well, he got booed, you know that, right?
Yeah, I know that. But like the song choices were horrible. Slash, I hate him for, you know. So Axl Rose singing like shit. It was horrible.
Thank you. Axl Rose did sound horrible.
Tool. I will say.
Hold on. Just there. It's 2025, and there was a concert bill with Disturbed on it that took place.
No, it was not Disturbed. It was just a singer. It was just a singer.
Oh man.
No, yeah, Disturbed is like.
We ran Stunty off. He's like, "Oh shit, they're talking about Axl Rose."
He has the Shrek thing. But anyways, I will say that I was very disappointed on most of it. To be honest, I watched the Tool thing.
Tool was amazing. That was good.
I like the drummer. I've seen him live. I like guitar player. I like the bass player. I fucking hate Maynard. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
What are you talking about?
He's
Jason,
part of that band.
Yeah. Jason, make me big. This is like a shout out to last week's stream.
Okay.
Free Willy. You know we're old when we're referencing Free Willy. Can you please stop?
Well, anyways, no, I don't know. I don't like that guy. It's just weird personality, and I don't like his other bands.
You don't like good music?
Is not a good band. I would say that
Axl Rose sounded like the only song that Axl Rose sounded okay singing was his own song. You know, when he was doing the covers, he sounded like it was
no. You know what? Billy Corgan singing "Breaking the Law" was dog shit. That was.
I didn't see that. I didn't stick around to watch that.
It was just another vocal range. He looked very excited, of course, right? And you know, Billy Corgan did that track with Tony Iommi in a 2000 CD that's never been released on vinyl. Anyway, but
did you guys pay to watch? Did you guys pay to watch this?
No, they had free streams on YouTube.
No, I paid. I sent the money to greedy Sharon. She took it. Thanked me personally.
And you know what? Talking about that, it was weird that she said like, oh, there was a band that said no because we were not going to pay them. And I'm like, that's fine. Like if you're not going to pay someone and they don't want to do it.
She was talking about Danzig, by the way. Supposedly, that's what I heard.
No, future
Sounds,
You know who was cool that I like seeing on there was Steven Tyler. I know I'm probably going to be in the minority here,
No, he did
but
well.
hearing Steven Tyler sing that was cool. I like Aerosmith.
He did well. That means like he's kind of healed, but doesn't want to risk it.
You know what I would have wanted if Tony Martin showed up. I was hoping.
Nah, that's the thing, all right? Anybody who had things to do with Sabbath post Ozzy, right? They were sort of excluded. You know, that would be the Sharon way, right?
sounds like a snooze fest.
How does like Smashing Pumpkins fans feel about like the current Billy Corgan doing the rounds about like how Nirvana stole his sound?
He's been talking about that for decades, man. That's not a new thing.
Yeah, but it's taken new life recently with him starting to tell that story again. Like, isn't it like weird? Like someone that obviously is trying to stay relevant. So
well, he's
hard.
probably trying to bait Courtney. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna happen, right?
He was talking about Hole too. My read on Billy Corgan, I can't believe we're talking about this right now, but my read on Corgan is that he's always had a chip on his shoulder. He never felt like he got the credit he deserved, and so he's always had this little bit of pettiness in his interviews. You know, like he made this point in one interview I watched recently where he was like, "When I wrote Disarm, #1 song, but no one ever asked me to write another song like that." It's like, who gives a shit? If you wanted to write a song like that, write a fucking song like that. Like, what are you complaining about? Like, some of his points are stupid.
Corgan did it to himself in the 90s.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be. He was on the 90s grunge where it's not cool to be popular thing. So now he's trying to get retribution for his sins. He's trying to win it all back. I don't have any sympathy for. I don't fault him. I don't fault him for it. But if he just fucking took care of himself in the 90s, he wouldn't have this problem.
When he lost his hair, he was like,
the first 3 Smashing Pumpkins records are amazing, and I think they go in that order. I think Gish is an amazing record, then Siamese, and then Melancholy. After that, it's hit or miss.
Melancholy's too long. It's too long to be that good.
I agree.
I still think Gish is a really good record. Yeah. I think that Siamese Dream has one really good song, and that's it. I check out after.
Wait, hold on. What's the one song?
Hold on.
Rocket.
Rocket. Okay, Rocket's a good song.
That's a good song. No, I like Melancholy because as a kid, the videos and everything looked nice when I was a kid. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the record being that long. But I don't like Machina or whatever they call it.
Jose, most of the B-sides they put out the B-sides for that album, like and half of them should have been on the record. They could have.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
that's pretty amazing, though. You have to admit, a double album, and then another double album where the B-sides. You know, insane.
It's like when I was around that age, like 15 years ago, right? I remember 9 Inch Nails like releasing like bullshit like digital only albums when that Ghost record came out, and but it was overwhelming. So I was like, I don't know if I want to listen to this anymore because it was like way too much information for my.
Chris, how do you feel like you earlier, like I don't know, lamenting or bragging about being the youngest one? When now we have a panelist who was not even born when Melancholy was released.
I was gonna say we're gonna lose the VC because we're talking about bands that came out within the past 30 years, so we got to be careful.
Yeah, if you mention like an artist that is releasing an album like this year, they don't like it.
I mentioned this album earlier.
Let's make you big. Hold up.
It's
Well, while you're making Joel big, Stunty, I just want to say too that I don't feel as big. I don't think I'm old enough to be Jose's dad, which is a good thing.
But you are.
How old are you, Chris? I don't know if I remember.
41.
You could be my dad.
In Mexico, you could be. In Mexico, you could. Not in Texas. Or actually in Texas you could as well.
Well, probably in France because they fuck each other when they're like 12.
What?
No.
Jesus. What the?
What?
Well, you never heard about that? What is this shit? Breaking news? What is this shit? Should I play you the
No,
video?
Jose. Contrary to Texas, at least we have abortion rights in France. So like, you wouldn't be here.
That doesn't stop the fucking though. And I remember when I heard the lemon incest, I was like, oh, all right.
Okay, now it's only you and me who know what you're talking about.
No, I bet at least Jason know what the fuck that is.
No, he
What
doesn't.
is that, Joel?
This is Heartworms. This is my favorite album to come out this year. It's called Glutton for Punishment by Heartworms. And
Tell
you
us
can ignore
about it.
this sticker. Well, first of all, this sticker is bullshit. I don't understand it. It's not a Rough Trade exclusive. It only had one pressing on this black and white vinyl. And I don't know why Rough Trade thinks this was exclusive to them, because it wasn't.
Is it warped?
No.
Anybody
Okay. 'Cause
has
usually rough trade exclusive means it's warped, but
No, it's not warped. But I love this album, Heartworms. What do you got, Jose? What do you got?
it's a Nirvana boxing.
Oh, there you go. I love Nirvana. Wait, what?
Yeah, Nirvana.
That's
the
not
British
Kurt Cobain.
band. It's the British band.
Oh, the other Nirvana?
Yes,
Never heard of them.
The real Nirvana. What's this?
Are you talking shit about Nirvana now?
No. It's the real Nirvana. Like they had to ask permission to use this name afterwards. And they gave
Joel, Jose was born after Kurt Cobain died, so for him it's the same. Like the
Yes.
British Nirvana, the American Nirvana, it's on the same scale.
Yes, and that's why, to me, that's why I can freely hate Foo Fighters, because if you take a guy that was in the fucking Germs and then he's singing bullshit songs like all happy and shit, fuck you and the horse you rode in, right?
Listen, I can't hate on Pat Smear, dude. He had to
Come
get the
on.
money.
Of course you can hate on him. He had to eat, yeah, but he could have like the Germs too, like I'm Dul or some shit like that. But I don't know. I hate Dave Grohl. He's just
Tokyo Record Style. I'm 46.
Like,
Right.
if you want, Jose, I can, like, Dave Grohl sent me some of the tears he produced when he heard about your hate for him, and I'm sure you will find them very tasty.
Did you slab them?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever listen to Sweet 75?
I don't know what that is.
That was the
Can we just talk about Steely Dan? I'm really feeling left out.
no Steely Dan.
jeez.
Sweet 75 was a band that Chris formed after Nirvana. They're very short-lived.
Before he was a horrible politician.
Yeah,
Ah, jeez.
he formed it with a woman named something. I don't remember her name anymore. But I got to see them live back in the mid-90s, and it was
You
pretty.
know
It was good.
what I love about the '90s Seattle scene is that there's always beef that you didn't know about, which is always interesting. But well, like, what's the original whole bass player that Kurt Cobain was sort of wanting a date before Courtney Love? Anybody remember her name?
You're not talking about Toby Vale, are you? Who are you talking about?
A whole bass player.
I think Jose is the
Melissa
Billy
Oftermar?
Billy Corgan of the VC. That's what I'm
What?
saying.
What?
I think Jose, I think you're the Billy Corgan of the VC. You're gonna spend all these years of hate, and then like
Oh,
20
Christian-
years come back and be like,
Christian
I
Pfaff.
was wrong.
No, I think Jose, you know, if
Christian
Jason was the Conan O'Brien of the VC, we know who Jose would be. You would
Jay
be the
Leno?
guy in the couch who is like
The what? It would be the what?
Andy?
Andy. You would be Andy.
You would be the other fucker in YouTube that nobody knows the name. Anybody here knows the names of the other
With
motherfuckers?
that, with Jose, we're that close to getting on the Yo Mama right now.
Your mama.
A cool story. Let's hear it again. Man, that's a big ass fucking camera you got there, Mr. Johnny Fever. You saw that shit? big as his fucking ass, probably. Anyways, no, but there was a lot of interesting music happening.
Here it is, Jose.
Seattle. Yeah, Christian Pfaff. Yeah, COD. Yeah.
I would OD in a bathtub if I was from Buffalo.
There's a lot of women throwing themselves at Kurt Cobain back in the day.
You know, Buffalo is very depressing. I would say that. Every time I've been to Buffalo, I've had a good time, but it's very depressing.
Yeah.
It's like it literally looks like a GTA background city. It's just there, and you can go, I guess. But you go to buildings and they're like empty inside.
Hey, can you put Decoy's chat? There we go. Put his.
Yes.
There you go. So I didn't get a chance to say, just real quick, this album right here is called The Uncanny Extravaganza by New Candies. They're from Italy. They're from Venice. And it's like, it's a little bit of psych. It's a little bit of post-punk and a little bit of like synthy something. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's a really good album. Just check it out. New Candies.
Me too, Johnny. Oh, I am. Which is always interesting. January Joe.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Well, she was a good bass player, but yeah. So Kurt Cobain wanted to date her, and then she fucking died, and then she was like, "Well, you know, there's this other girl in the band, so that's history, I guess."
Request for Jose. Can we talk about UHQR? It's been too long since I heard Jose's chat. Case
I knew you were going to highlight that. I knew you were, as soon as you said that.
I don't have the stigma right now. It's low, you know. My passion for life right now. It's on a low.
What? Are you feeling bummed?
No. I don't want to. When you do Chad Chasm impersonation, like
he has to be on cocaine when he does Chad Chasm. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
It's heroin, bro. It's heroin, not cocaine.
No, you have to be.
That's fired.
That's fucked up.
Oh wait, am I the only asshole that has this box in here?
What? You do not. Why do you have that?
Because I like.
Oh no! We're gonna show that. You're gonna show that. All right.
I love it.
You might be the only asshole that has that box set, but you're not the only asshole that watched that fucking stream this weekend. What the hell's wrong with you people?
No. I mean, I think these boxes are nice. Like all the outtakes and shit is nice. And
you know who covered Bill Ward's song, the ballad?
Oh, It's All Right.
Yeah, you know who covered it on the show?
Oh, somebody covered it. I didn't see that.
Yeah, guess who did it?
Who?
I don't know.
Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses. It's the first song they played.
Oh, that's the bullshit. No, really?
Yes.
I did see. I saw him on the piano. And he was singing like this.
Yep, he was singing that song, and I was blown away. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah, that's well, the concert's pretty good. The artwork, people always say it's bullshit artwork, but I like it. It's a robot having sex with another robot. What's wrong with that?
Well, I think they asked themselves the same question when that record came out.
No, but the book is nice.
Yeah, but you know, Jose, you ask a question. I guess that going from like demons, weird demons, or like creepy dude in a cemetery to robots having sex with each other, I think, yeah. That kind of.
Jose, can you show that album cover? Can you show? Joel, is this? It looks like an electronic golden shower is going on here. Yeah. Can you comment on the validity of this?
Look at the electronic vagina in that shit. You see the.
I've become the authority on pissing.
No, but it's a nice book. I got it for like $50. I don't.
$50.
Yeah,
the record store paid you $50 to take that. Is that what you said?
Yeah, basically. Look, it's with guests. Look at the guests. Nuts, right? Whoa. No, but for real, I think it's pretty good. I don't mind it. The Anno Domini one, I don't know why I didn't buy it. I was so hyped in it, and I didn't buy it at the end. What a fucking dumbass I was. But I don't know, man. I was thinking about that. Like, I don't really give a fuck about any hard rock band except maybe Sabbath, you know. So I don't know. Maybe it says something. I don't know
What
what it
about
says.
Deep Purple?
Shit, we're not going there.
Oh, is Bandy here?
You know what? If I want to hear like Renaissance type bullshit,
Renaissance.
Listen, we're not talking about Blackmore's Night. We're talking about Deep Purple.
no, I don't. I don't mind. Like, there's some drone type metal in some of those records. I really don't mind that.
When I was a kid and I liked Deep Purple, dot, dot, dot.
Oh, I never liked it. You know what?
What a bunch of dicks, all you.
I'll say this. I like Born Again. Does that say something?
Born Again?
Yeah, the Black Sabbath record with Ian Gillan, the baby one.
Jose likes the one that no one else knows. That you have to catch on to this.
Look! Everyone fucking knows Born Again. It's the record that they did Stonehenge from fucking what is it? Stonehenge from
Spinal Tap?
Yeah, Spinal Tap. Yeah, it's the Black Sabbath story basically from that record. It's I don't think it's bad.
You guys, you realize that Jose is talking about old obscure Black Sabbath records only because his favorite band is Wilco, and no one in the VC is old enough to actually, or young enough to care for them. So
Jason just did a comparison video of Wilco, and Chris likes Wilco, so fuck you.
Loves.
Yeah,
Wilco.
but he could be your 10-year-old dad. So
11.
You know, let's get serious here for a minute. Jose, can you give us 45 minutes on Metal Machine music before we go?
I could, yeah.
Why did I wake up?
You know what? I would actually tell you to listen to the live version of that record. It's pretty good. Electric Trio. I don't remember the bullshit name it has, but it's pretty interesting. I mean, the live setting, it's just like free rock, jazzy shit. But
isn't Deep Purple the band that would play anywhere live, like live at Western Union, live at Costco? Like
almost every band, man. I don't. Well, you know, today I was listening to Big Black, and the last concert was at fucking what was it, like a water or like electricity shit or something. So there are worse stuff you could do, you know. I'm not. Yet already played way worse venues.
Dude, Bill K, get the fuck out of here, Bill K. Machine Head is the only good album.
Yeah,
am I the only one? I'm wondering. Am I the only one who have zero care for any live album by rock bands?
That's only. Have you listened to Made in Japan? Have you listened to Made in Japan?
I'll give you one that you probably like.
Yeah, but I mean,
what about Pink Floyd?
As soon as I see it's a live album, I'm out. I'm not interested.
Well, you know what? Record. Well, one of my favorite live records. It's June 1st, 1973. Another record.
What?
Yeah.
That's like Eno, right? And
Nico,
Kevin
Robert
Ayers.
Wyatt,
Kevin Ayers. It's a pretty good record. It's a fun record.
Yeah, but my favorite song on it is one that I have studio versions of it as well.
No, but the end is definitely way better on live. The end is way better.
When a band performs well live and it's recorded well, it's great to listen to. I'm generally with you. I generally don't search out live records, but I can name, like, I'm not going to, but there are a handful of them that I think are great.
I agree with you, and there are exceptions to my own rule for myself. But like life for me, it feels like life is too short to. I love the album. Do I also need to dedicate time to?
It also depends what type of band you. Because, for example, I would think that you like all the live Nurse with Wound records because most of them are like one. I say
no, but I said live rock from rock bands who play
just rock. Well, but wouldn't you say like? Well, I like Zappa live, very different. It depends what you like because if you like Grateful Dead, every single live take is a different take. So,
Well, thank God I'm not a fan of the Grateful Dead.
I know, but if you liked something along those lines, it would make it a little more interesting, you know.
Damn, dude.
I don't
Because
even
you're
listen
not
to
getting the
that's-
same thing as the studio.
Yeah, I don't listen. I don't even listen. Some bands I don't even listen to their studio stuff. Only live stuff.
Yeah, I do that with Grateful Dead definitely.
Yeah.
Unless I'm listening to
See,
Red
That's how I am with.
records because you know.
You're not going to like this next statement, but that's how I am with Pearl Jam. I have some live bootlegs. It's the only Pearl Jam I listen to. I don't listen to the albums anymore. Once you've heard them live so many times, they're so much better live than they are in the album that you don't even listen to the albums anymore.
Yeah, because he's singing like shit.
No.
But I don't mind Pearl Jam, but I don't.
I guess maybe also that depends. Like if you're lucky enough to live or to have lived in a big city where you got the chance to see a lot of live shows, then listening to a live show feels kind of like, I guess that's why for me. Like
no, but that's not completely true because there's a lot of people that's the reason they go back and listen to it live.
Yeah, I like Jose's point. Like it comes to like Zappa, Dead, Fish. It's not about seeing them live because every show's most shows are different. So it's like a whole level of improvisation that's happening that you're not going to pick up and be able to capture anywhere else.
Punk bands as well, but they all sound like shit.
this comment here, Stunty.
You're talking about Dave Matthews Band now.
I can't disagree.
Stunty, your point about not listening to live too short to listen to live albums is just saying like you're just not into it, so you're not going to spend time, and that's cool. You know,
it's more. Again, life is too short. Like, and also there's one thing. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's
live is live crappy. Sorry,
maybe it's coming from being a kid with no money and like, do I need to buy the live album as well? Oh,
wait,
no.
did you tell me what your first?
I'll give it to you.
Did you tell me what your first show? I think I asked you. I don't remember. What was the first show? Wasn't it like Nirvana or some shit like that?
Yeah.
It was Nirvana, right?
Yeah.
That's nice.
What about Nirvana?
That takes a little. I never got to see most of the bands I like, so that's why I like listening to live records because you're.
So I saw Nirvana open for Tad in December 12th, 1989. That's the first gig I ever went to, and I had no idea who they were.
Cool story, bro.
When I was young and I saw Nirvana.
When I was young and I liked metal, the first band I ever saw was Gorgoroth, and it was fucking sick. That I liked.
I think Jeff K is trolling us at this point. You can't be saying Dave Matthews Band rocks and Pearl Jam sucks. Like that's like no.
Well,
I cannot stand for that.
Doesn't Jeff K own a pet rat though? I think he does.
It would be amazing if they did. Right? By the way, I'm always shocked when people in the U.S. doesn't know that there are MTV Unplugs outside the U.S.
Yeah.
Like
we don't give a shit about the rest of the world, dude.
Yeah, I know.
They do MTV Unplugged in South America. They did Mana.
Also in Mexico, and Mexico is North America.
Yeah, Mana Unplugged. I saw that.
Well, the Café Tacuba, Molotov.
Wait, is Mexico part of the
Molotov
Gulf of
is
America?
great.
Is Mexico part of the Gulf of America?
Jeez, what the?
They just did, yeah. Congratulations, right?
Yeah.
My wife's a big Café Tacuba fan.
Café Tacuba, all right, that's nice. I like them. I think you have to be way more Mexican to like them because he sings very like.
Yeah, my wife was born in Mexico.
Yeah,
I listened to that Molotov album, the Donde album, like super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
¿A dónde jugaron las niñas? Yeah. You know why that records called like that, right? Because
Just the cover.
Mana wrote a record called "Where Will the Kids Play," and then Molotov wrote "Where Would the Girls Play," with a weird fucking sexy cover. It's pedophilic as fuck, but that's why the record is called it. Well, if it's called "Where the Little Kids Play" and it's a photo of legs and a skirt, isn't that weird? Like, what the fuck's going on with that shit?
Okay, we're reaching the 2-hour mark. This is how we're gonna end this, right? With Jose.
No,
you gotta.
that's not happening.
I told you, Jason. Like you have me, Jose, and John, and Santi all on here, just like riffing for fucking hours. Shit's never gonna end.
Well, you know what? It's time for I'm taking note. It's time for reviewing the comments that I think are lame. All right, let's see.
Oh God.
Cat is fantastic. All right, I don't know about that.
Why are you showing?
Yeah, I'm showing. Bill Cage just says Fillmore East. Like, I guess he's referring to Grateful Dead. I don't know.
He's talking about
Elliot Cruz said Fillmore East. Written really weird. I don't know why. Fillmore East, which is that's a thing. Live in Japan could be anybody, I guess.
That's Deep Purple.
Just Deep Purple live.
It's actually it's made in Japan.
That's why I'm saying it's not. Yeah. So it's not, right?
Jason, I think you should rename your band Class of Stockholm Syndrome 2025.
Right.
Sounds hot. It sounds like you're gonna be up there with Sabrina Carpenter if you were to do
That's
that.
right.
You guys,
Dave Matthews Band, like it's when you're from Europe and you're under 80 years old, like that's kind of weird to hear that name mentioned. Like, or I guess
over 80 people like it if they were over 80.
They've been selling out. They sold out Europe like 4 times in the past decade.
Really?
Europe is not a country.
Yeah. I didn't say it was. They sold out the European tour like 4 times in the past decade.
He didn't
like,
say
it's been a big push.
Yeah, there's a lot of in Europe people live longer than in the US, so there's a lot of 80 plus people in Europe.
They're more gilfs, as I was saying.
No, I don't know. I've never listened to Dave Matthews Band. I know it exists. I heard it probably, but like
I know one song.
I put a link to the only Dave Matthews Band song I like. You should listen to it, Stunty. You might like it.
All right, I will.
Which one is it?
Frog.
It's that song "Don't Drink the Water." I don't know why I like that song.
Because
really
you like the P. Of course, you prefer the P. That's why.
I think Stunty would like the lyrics.
Yeah.
Why does he sound and look like a frog? That's my question with Dave Matthews, man. He looks like a fucking frog. He sounds like Kermit if like Miss Piggy's like sitting in his ass with his face. So I don't know.
But you don't mind Tom York's voice? Like what the fuck?
Tom York looks like he sounds.
Like
no,
and you're
a
huge U2 fan. You like Bono's voice.
I hate you.
Have you seen
you love
that
Shakira. Sounds like a fucking goat. That's bullshit.
There's this new TV show that is not that good called Smoke. It's basically Seven, but when the serial killer is a serial arsonist, and the theme song is an original song by Tom York, and it's actually pretty good.
Well,
no, I like Tom York, but like I always get a kick out of people knocking voices. Like half the bands you listen to, like none of them can fucking sing.
People who
like,
knock out Tom York, but they love fucking what's his name, Neil Young. Like, Neil Young is so good, but Tom York is like, yeah, right.
I never heard anybody complain about Tom York's voice.
Yeah, come on.
No, that's because they'd ruin the reputation of all the hipsters they're surrounded by. Like, if you can't fucking hate Radiohead, can't criticize Radiohead. You turn to fucking Stone.
I saw a guy the other day doing street musician doing Johnny guitar, and I thought that was bizarre, and I left like, immediately. So
Usually, when things gets bizarre, you stay, Jose. So I don't know if we can trust you.
Yeah, but he was doing the Tom York head shit that goes like this.
What?
So that was weird, and I left. Yeah.
I think you're mixing up Guns N' Roses and Radiohead right now, Jose.
Are you going to paradise?
Imagine a mashup of Tom York being the singer of the Guns N' Roses.
That would be amazing.
Hmm?
Well,
So
didn't Axl Rose was the singer of AC/DC for like a year or some shit like that? Yeah, right.
Yes.
And that was horrible. He was like, because his foot broke, so he was sitting in a chair, and he was singing like the most karaoke sounding shit I ever. Oh yeah, the Suspiria. You know what? I fuck the Suspiria soundtrack. I like it, but as a soundtrack for the movie Suspiria, it sucks shit. The original one is so fucking good. This one is just mellow and sad and one eye looking at the other direction. Bullshit. So
Look at this.
I love how Jason.
This is what happens when the inmates run the asylum.
That's right.
Yeah, because you know what? I'll tell you this. I don't mind. I like Radiohead. I like taking this shit on Radiohead way more.
I like Radiohead too, but I'm
The
just
other
saying,
day-
like, Tom York sounds like a fucking dying cat.
The other day,
Williamsburg worships the ground he walks on.
a friend of mine reached out to me the other day out of the blue. I don't know why, and he said, "Why is Radiohead so popular?" And I don't think he knew what my opinion of Radiohead was, but I just told him, my honest opinion about why they're popular. And he just said he couldn't get into them and he couldn't understand why. And my response back to him, and my response to anybody listening to this video, is I think life, it goes back to Stunty's point a while back, which is life is too short for you to have to, quote, try to like something. If you listen to Radiohead and you're not into it, fucking move
Just go
on.
back and
Listen to something else.
Yeah, well, that's something
You
I've never understood. When somebody tells me like I want to get into a band, it's weird for me because I either go into it or don't. There are bands, especially like in experimental music scene, that are it's a little more complicated because they had like periods and sub periods and when they work with blah blah blah, and sometimes you get misinformed. Like for example, I'll tell Stunty like how I got into like Nurse with Wound was one of his favorite bands was through bullshit that he doesn't like, right? Like Current 93. So totally different how you get into a band sometimes, which may or may not But for example, Pantera, the first record I ever heard from Pantera was the first one, the Magic one. What is it?
Listen, there are certain bands that I just like to rag on, and I like just to talk shit sometimes. I don't really. It does not that big of a deal. Like if I do like Pantera, but if it's not like I think everybody has to like them. Like that's ridiculous.
I don't think I like Bjork. That's not
yeah. See, I like Bjork, but Bjork is another artist that like. Even the hardcore Bjork fans that I know, they don't like everything she's ever done because she got really weird, and some people like her popular stuff. Weird. If you listen to her first, the first solo album, the one that had Big Time Sensuality on it, like I don't know how you couldn't like that album. It's a great album, but if you listen to some of the weirder stuff she did, I can understand like not wanting to sit around and listen to that.
Or the other way around.
Or exactly.
What if I told you that all of our taste in music sucks?
I would agree.
Listen, I would fight you. We'll take you back.
50% chance. You talking about chance or the word chance?
50% chance that Jose's favorite Radiohead is Tree Fingers.
I don't know what my favorite. Probably Nude. Anything out of In Rainbows.
Yeah. The reason Radiohead is popular is because when you look at their first album through Kid A, it's like that progression is fantastic. Like
I like Kid A. The other day, Arnaldo said that I was a hipster because I said that Kid A is way better than OK Computer. I think it is it's a way better album than OK Computer. Also, I just fucking hate. I don't want to listen to OK Computer ever again.
Yeah.
So
It-
that's the
I think
difference.
the
So
real reason why Radiohead is popular is because it's one of these bands that make you feel, that empowers you, that makes you feel like, oh, this kind of music that I thought I hated, actually, they make me like it.
So what you're
It's
saying is
simple as
that the reason people like Oasis is because they hate the Beatles, and they like Oasis. Is what you're saying?
Why did you have to talk about Oasis when we were doing so great?
Because you have to, I guess. I will say this. I don't give a fuck about Oasis. I saw that the first song they played on the first show they did was "Fucking in the Bushes," which is a Guy Ritchie song that only came in what is it, Snatch, and I liked that. I like because that was a good song.
they didn't play it. They put the
But-
audio to it.
You know, with Radiohead, the funny thing is that if you've been aware of them since the beginning, so they became big because of Creep, which was a single. It came out as a single before the album, before they even knew they were gonna do an album. There was like the single Creep, and then Pop Is Dead, and then a year later came out the album. Nowadays, you wouldn't put that even in the top 10 Radiohead records, but that was still their biggest song ever, and that's what brought them up to the audience, because it was like alternative indie, blah blah blah. But the thing is, what they really did is it was one of these rock indie bands that embrace electronic music, that were referencing krautrock, that were referencing a shitload of music that you need or don't. These like 10 records if you want to get into jazz, 10 records if you want to get into krautrock. Well, you didn't need these videos because you had Radiohead, who were kind of like showing you that this is actually not as esoteric as you might find. And
Well,
I thought Radiohead got popular because everybody got sick of U2. That's what I thought.
Jeez.
Creep obviously was their biggest hit. It's not why they got popular though. They got popular for the same reason a lot of bands get popular, just because of word of mouth. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
Maybe they just
when
got,
OK
maybe they just got, maybe they just got
that's
popular
called
because they're
marketing.
good.
That's called
Yeah,
marketing.
whatever. When OK Computer won the Grammy,
Pablo
no one
Honey sucks
that album
shit.
was not a popular album, and then it won the Grammy. Everyone started talking about it, and then it became untouchable. It's one of those albums you don't touch. You know,
I that's the only record I don't own by Radiohead, and I will never own. It's Pablo Honey.
wait, you have Pablo Honey?
No, I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
See, I liked Pablo Honey. Pablo Honey actually had some really good B-sides too. But
Well, that I believe, but in I like the poppy British sound, so it's
Like
not
Blur?
that. I like the Bends way better. I will say that.
no, but okay, when
That was
Creep
good.
came out, like if you were into Nirvana and stuff like that, that was a really good song. That was popular.
Mhm.
It was one of these songs that you would like and that would also be popular. Which was, there weren't that many songs like that.
Were they like? Because in the U.S. they are a one-hit wonder, quote unquote.
Who?
Were
No,
they
they're
like-
not. Wait, whoa, no,
What
no,
are you
no.
talking about?
If they would have stayed sounding like Pablo
In the-
Honey, they
in
would
the-
have been a would-hit wonder.
A one-hit wonder
Yeah,
means
I agree with Joel there.
no. A one-hit wonder means that they actually charted. So the only song that's ever charted by Radiohead, I think, was
I don't think so.
Creep.
I'm almost positive Karma.
That's
Police
100%
started.
not true.
No, yeah, it would definitely. Wait,
Paranoid
let me-
Android, all yeah. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I can't believe we spent like 20
Don't-
minutes talking about radio.
Are you starting to quote like
Karma
90s Metallica
Police.
songs now? Nothing
What?
Karma
really
Police
matters?
definitely charted.
What are we talking about?
Can you? I'll play the guitar and you can do Creep. Can we do
Oh
that?
my gosh, no.
Can we do that? Well, that's the thing. Like, I hate Creep with a passion because.
But you know how to play it.
Mark Ford is talking about stereo.
You know
loud.
why? You know why? Because that's one of my sister's favorite songs.
All right, this is how we'll
And
end
so-
the stream. Get the guitar. Let's do
No,
this.
we got to keep going. We got
Yeah,
things
yeah,
to talk about.
No, we gotta get.
I'm looking to fight. So let's start bringing up some more topics.
Okay.
I'm looking to attack these fucking hipsters on our stream.
Mark Boyd's talking about stereo lab. Let's fight.
Yeah, I saw Stereolab first time in 1991 live. And
Yeah,
I
well,
saw
fuck
I probably
Stereolab.
saw them 8 times between 1991 and 1994. And they were
I got a great idea for a discussion. Why don't we all pick more bands that we've never listened to and don't like because they're popular? Joel,
Wait, say that again?
Elton John.
Why don't we pick more bands we've never listened to and hate because they're popular? Joel,
Elton John.
That have never listened to?
Yeah.
Elton John, okay.
Yeah, like I will do whatever the Red was asking me to do if he goes and kills Elton John, and I literally don't care about him, but I just like to hate him.
Wait, I want to show you a photo, and if you hate, let me know if you hate him less or more after this photo.
If it's Bono, we're cutting.
This is too postmodern.
I have an answer, Chris. Later, I have an answer for this.
It is something, but it's me showing to you, so it doesn't really matter.
Whenever I'm on a stream with Jose, I start a countdown on like how much time before he mentions wrench.
Like, do I look like someone he likes? Right. Man, what
C Ferg, yes. Tool said at the Black Sabbath show. I'm not going to say Ozzy funeral.
How do I make myself?
Tool set was good. Oh shit. Elton John.
What do you think of this color?
He looks like Ozzy Osbourne here a little bit.
He looks like shit. And you know what? I love that photo because King Gizzard has that record. Like they bought it and framed it, and it's up in their wall when they record. Because it's so funny.
Wait, Jose, am I the only one who's gonna play Chris's game? Like, am I the only one?
I played it. I was gonna. I got interrupted. I was gonna say my.
Answer. A band that I hate that I've never heard.
See, you just got interrupted.
National.
Okay. We can't stream with Jose without constantly being interrupted. If he's not here, then it's me interrupting people. So when he's here, he's king interrupted.
It's the Mexican lagging.
Yeah.
No.
So I have an answer for the question, and it has a lesson in it. So back.
Boo.
No, I'm gonna do this. I'm getting on my soapbox here. So back maybe 20 years ago or something like that, I used to talk mad shit about. What the hell was that? I don't want to be big, dude.
What are you doing?
Anyway, fucking John did. It's probably John. I doubt Jason.
I have my hands here. Look.
So I used to talk a lot of shit about Depeche Mode. And there's reasons for it, and I'm not going to get into it. But the reality was that, like, I had never really listened to them. Sure, I heard, I Feel You and whatever the fuck. But I hadn't really listened to them. I just talked shit about them because I was an asshole.
Into metal because you were a kid.
No, I wasn't into metal. But anyway, I talked shit about them. And then a friend of mine, shout out to Jason, he pulled me aside. I think it was in front of people, too. He's like, Joel, why are you being such an asshole? And it was at that moment I realized, yes, I am. I'm sitting here shitting on a band that is clearly a great band, who I haven't even really listened to just because other people like them. And I realized I was being an asshole. And I spent some time listening to Depeche Mode. And aside from the first album, which does suck, the rest of it's fucking amazing.
Was this epiphany on the same day, or was it like a month and month?
Oh, no, it took me a while to listen to it all. What the epiphany was stop being an asshole and shitting on stuff that people like. You know what I mean? And it's a lesson I have to constantly teach myself over and over again because I do it a lot because I'm a piece of shit.
Wait, Jose, wait a second.
You're a creep.
I'll play the devil's advocate to Joel.
Okay.
So I've never, ever listened to Poison. But I will shit on them all the fucking time.
Yeah.
No. You know what?
I don't feel bad about it.
You know what, Stunty? I would, as someone that hates Poison with a, I hate them because I've listened to them. Which, if you hate them without listening to them, to me it's the same. It's like you don't have.
That was me playing the devil's advocate.
No, that's fine. I will say, like I confessed the other day on Chance's stream, I did watch Bret Michaels' Buzz of Love
Oh,
because
jeez.
I used to love trash TV when I was a kid and I like metal. 'Cause that's what metal does to you. It makes you watch the Osbournes and it makes you watch the metal show. Remember the
When
metal?
I was young, I was into trash TV. This is fucked up.
You know what? I did. I was watching like horrible Mexican novelas and shit. And
Wait, I want to address Tucker Brian's comment.
of course, we can do it.
This
So,
one?
In a way, yeah, in a way, if you hate a band without having ever listened to them, it's like air guitar, right? But air guitar is pretty cool.
What?
It is. It depends, though. I've seen some. You know that video of the guy doing air guitar to John Bon Jovi? That sucks dick. You know what I'm talking about? The guy at the stadium, at the baseball stadium? That sucks.
Jason,
dick.
can you ban Jeff K. Myers for his?
Yes, please do. I've been waiting for that for hours. Ever since he said Pearl Jam sucks. Get him out of here.
Pearl Jam, fine.
John Bong, did you watch Real Chance at Love? What was the one? I don't remember that one. I saw Flavor Flav, but I don't know what this is. I used to
Dude,
call
Bon Jovi is great, man. What are you talking about? Like old school Bon Jovi?
Bon Jovi is like worse than like the plague or some shit like that. It's horrible. It's like
The Plague is a great
you're only
novel.
saying that because you haven't had the plague.
No, but The Plague is a great novel by Albert Camus.
Camus. Yeah, it is true. I actually do have it. So
Yeah.
in Spanish. So it's probably shit. No,
Brian here.
I can't
Give
listen.
a shout out to Concert Buddy.
Let's all read this in unison. All right.
What, doing Creep?
I didn't say out loud. I just said let's read it. Do I? I don't know what the fuck he's talking
Let's
about.
not do it.
Bong, have you ever seen The Warning? Look at him. Oh, get closer. Look.
Oh my god, he's gonna get sexual.
Yes. No. Those girls used to go. I'll say this. It's a metal band. 3 girls, 3 sisters. I got the creepiest motherfuckers ever. They would go to where I used to work at a record store, and they would ask me, "Hey, can they sign this shit for you?" Because they would come and like leave records at the store. It was very fucking creepy. So,
Can you go back to Seaferg's comment, Jason?
This one?
Yeah, so what we're really saying here is that only Jason's opinion matters for his influence with psychedelic horse shit.
Right.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Wait, what? I don't even remember what band I said because everybody gave a fuck about what I said.
No,
Well,
I'm kidding.
Oh, the National. I've never heard the National.
yeah, me neither.
Okay, but do you hate on the National though?
Well, no. I would say no. But there are bands that you listen to without actually like, going out there and like doing, because like Imagine Dragons, like you hear that shit like in every trailer for a movie now, and I hate it.
Yeah,
I also hate Van Halen, but that's for another day, I guess.
I don't hate Van Halen, dude. Van Halen's good. When they did the greatest hits and Dave did those 2 songs at the end, like Me Wise Magic, I had real hope that they were gonna do something, and then they didn't.
Wait. Now I remember what I was gonna say. Sammy Hagar on the live.
No one
stream,
cares.
It was dog.
Elaine is playing a villain in Marvel movies right now, so
Elaine?
that gives you some perspective, Tokyo
What
Brian.
Elaine Bennett?
Dude, we do need more women in the VC, though. I will agree with that. Hey,
Why? Are you planning to have sex anytime soon?
no, I want to. No, because they. Never mind.
You know what? Alice in Chains also sucked dick on the Saturday stream.
Dude, Alice in Chains does not suck. Hey, Jason, can you do me a favor? Do me a favor. Mute Jose and make me big screen. I have some.
All right. So Alice in Chains was dog shit, and
Was it-
on Saturday it was dog shit. On Saturday, that new singer is dog shit. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Is that a Alice in
Unmute
Chains record?
Joel.
Is that the Björk album?
Mute me, really? Am I unmuted now?
Yes.
Listen, this is the new album from Lead into Gold. Okay, and you can listen to it or don't listen to it. I don't care. But everybody, if you're in the U.S., go to coldwaves.net. They're going to be touring the Cold Waves Festival's industrial tour in Chicago normally, but they're going to be doing a tour around the states with Frontline Assembly, Clock DVA, Lead into Gold, this band right here. Also, Nitzareb and Mentalo and the Fixer will be at select dates.
I don't
You
think
don't-
Nitzareb will be there. I'm sorry to say.
I don't think they've announced that they're pulling out yet, or that he's
well, the
pulling out.
singer died.
Definitely not.
I know.
My guy.
They were touring without him before, so I get your point though. But you don't want to miss Clock DVA. That'd be a really stupid
Wait.
decision.
Lead into Gold. Are they?
Yeah,
are
this
they,
is
is it the same band as Fluor in the Water?
no. This is Paul Barker, his solo project. Anyway, this is his new album. It's really fucking good.
Wait, is it Ministry related?
Yeah,
He was in Ministry
and he was also in Killing Joke at one
Yes.
point.
and a
Was
lot of
in
groups.
He was in Murder Inc. He
Yeah.
was.
So this is his new album. It's really good. It just came out. You can get it. You can get it on his Bandcamp. But more importantly, go see the tour. If they're going to come to your town, they're coming to a bunch of cities in the U.S. It's going to be the best show of the year. You're not going to want to miss it.
Can you put Tokyo Brian's comment up?
I'm going to put a link in chat to
I
coldwaves.net.
just want to clear the air here with Tokyo. I'm only trying to be hateful tonight because I can't get a fucking word in on this stream. I'm just gonna talk about music. That's all. I could really give a shit.
What did you expect? What did you expect? Look who you invited. You invited me, Santi, and Jose. You think you're going to be able to talk?
What did you? That's what you said. What did you said? Hey, let me shit on another band that everybody likes.
Oh
but
my
wait,
gosh.
did you actually?
Like,
Do you
wait,
actually-
is Tokyo Brian? Does he really think this is serious? Like,
I don't.
like I think
Yeah.
I think you have missed something here, Brian.
I think he missed a pill today. Anyways, do you actually like Alice in Chains' new singer? That's an actual question.
Yeah, I do.
All right, that's a thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's not Lane, but he doesn't suck.
It's
I mean, he
just-
sounds like Lane.
It's just a different band. Like I don't understand.
Yeah. I agree.
There are bands that it's okay that the singer moved on or died or whatever, but it's like, it's just another band, man. Like talking about Van Halen doesn't make any sense when Sammy Hagar fucking tequila is up the ass motherfucker. Like I don't get that shit.
Alice in Chains has released more or the same or more number of albums since Lane died than they did before Lane died.
Disco.
So
Devil. What the fuck did I say that I was wrong? I don't understand, but all right.
Jeez.
Disco Devil. But Alice in Chains, yeah. Anyway, why'd you bring up Alice in Chains for?
Because they were playing on Saturday.
Oh,
Sticks. I don't mind Sticks.
You know,
I don't mind Sticks.
I think that Hatebeak is indeed the winner of this conversation. You guys know Hatebeak, besides Jose, right?
What?
It's Hatebeak. It's basically a death metal grindcore band whose lead singer is a parrot, and they basically do like grindcore covers of Black Sabbath, and the singer is literally a parrot.
What?
Have you ever heard Mac Sabbath?
Wait, hold on.
yeah, I've heard Max
Did you
Sabbath.
say a parrot, like a bird, is the lead
Yeah,
singer?
the bird. Their biggest album is called "Bird Seeds of Hate."
And you guys don't like fish, but you like this bird singing.
No one said we don't like fish. That was someone in chat who said that.
Jeff K. Myers is a parrot.
Yeah, we banned him. Don't worry, he's gone.
Hey, Santi, what do you think about this? Let me make you big. What?
What the
What am I supposed to react to, Jose? Now, what are the
Jason,
bullshit?
why did you give him the power, dude?
I don't even know why I have the power. But I'll say that I don't mind.
Oh, thank you, Elliot Cruz. Thank you, Elliot Cruz, for bringing some sense to this panel.
Where is the hate for Rush? Oh yeah, Rush sucked shit. So
Okay, I hated Rush, right? And I talked a lot of shit, but then I don't know if you remember their album called Test for Echo.
no,
It's probably not anyone's favorite Rush album, and I don't give a shit. But when it came out, for whatever reason, I decided to listen to it, and I actually like that album. It's
okay. Let's give some love like that. I like late 90s Genesis.
Yeah, so do I. I like Genesis. I'm down with it.
Don't? You do?
Yeah, I do. I certainly do. And I don't care for Genesis before 85, basically.
Stop it. Stop with the fucking camera shit.
You know, I'll tell you this. I like Genesis with Peter Gabriel because I like his voice. I don't care about Phil Collins at all. Not even the Tarzan soundtrack. Remember the Tarzan soundtrack? But what you remember the Tarzan? But what did they release in the 90s? I don't remember shit like the.
They did We Can't Dance.
Oh, that no, I hate that. That's the thing.
That was a good album.
Is that what you like, Stunty? That song?
No, I like basically. I would say go on YouTube, which you already are, obviously. So it's not that big of a leap, and watch a live version of Brazilian, the track by Genesis, where you have two drummers. You have Phil Collins on digital drums and an extra drummer. It's fucking amazing. It's amazing.
Look, you made Sean cry. Look, he's crying now.
Yeah, but Sean is from Detroit, so he's used to crying.
Groovy Lisa hates AJ.
And he's also...
We should all be thankful that Peter Gabriel left Genesis because his solo stuff was amazing.
Well, I can also thank him because a certain guy took photos for his solo records, and then he wasn't a good band portfolio. Over he's calling all stations, guys.
Maybe I should play that next time. Wolfman, maybe.
Phil made Genesis popular. It didn't need to be.
Well,
did it need to be?
Phil's bank account thinks differently.
And Caesar, it was an old comment, but Caesar, I'm not expecting anyone to buy it. I'm also not selling it. I just was recommending it.
You know what,
but Jeff? The thing is that there are instrumental tracks of Genesis where and they rock. They're great. Like, I don't like when he sings. I agree, but there's a few instrumental tracks that are freaking amazing. And I'm sorry, Tim, University of Vinyl. I'm even if I'm not serious, I am serious about this. I will kill you if you.
Whoa!
Was Chester Thompson the drummer in that?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so the dude was like, that was the dude who was with Zappa, right?
Yes.
Forever. Yeah.
You know, as someone that likes early Pink Floyd, I like it when somebody with birthday party era Nick Cave says they hate Pink Floyd. It makes me believe that the Australian punk's still alive. Thank you. Anyways,
and didn't Phil Collins do the music of the musical of the Lion King?
No, it was Tarzan.
No, it's Tarzan.
Wait, so you like Elton John because you like the fucking Circle of Life bullshit?
No, I don't like when he sings. I like Phil Collins when he's a musician, not when he's a singer. And when he brings on someone else, it's the same.
Yeah, that is true. Adam Hart Mother is the best Pink Floyd record. That is true.
Oh, universal truths now. Okay.
Yes. You know what? Universal truth I always stand by? That Poison sucks shit. You know, that's a universal truth that I think most people here would like. Does anybody here actually like Poison? Do you like Poison?
Just their first three records, I think.
I like the Bell Biv DeVoe album.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Bell Biv DeVoe. Now you know. Yo, Slick Blow. That's a great album.
Phil and Bone Thugs.
You guys should know that the Poison album from Velvet DeVoe was the first album I learned every lyric to when I was a kid.
Joel, no one knows that except for you and me here.
Well,
That's
I just
like
let you know.
That's like Jose and Stunty talking about esoteric, modern, classical composers, which is they're just lost in the wind.
You guys don't know Velvet DeVoe? Jason, what are you doing with your stream, dude? You need to do a full stream on Velvet DeVoe, please.
We could. Good. I have the 12-inch.
Just play it for an hour straight.
Wait. Stunty, breaking news. Look. Lion King is Elton John.
I love that shit. I want to see, people with mask over their head, like to act like a lion on stage, and you're a bit like Mazzy with the Beatles record.
Yeah, can you imagine Mazzy doing it like fully naked with like body lotion?
Probably not.
Like, holding up to you?
No, I've never. No.
You never thought of that?
No, but I probably dreamt it.
Yeah, of course. Who hasn't, right? Ronnie DeVoe is crying.
No, but come on. Don't you think it's a little bit healthy to cheekily, like, at least be honest? Like, okay, there's something you don't like. Like, we're not trying to convince anyone that, if I don't like it, you like it, so you're wrong. You should stop liking it. No one is trying to do this right now. But like, being a little bit honest with humor, like that's healthy, I think.
No, I think it is. I think something what it comes down to is I feel like Jose might kill me if I like certain things, and I don't want to die. That's
but I don't care. Whatever, you can listen to whatever. There are bands that I just I never got. It's like there are bands that I never heard when I was a kid, and I don't really feel like I have to listen to them now. So like I know bands by name that I don't. Jane's Addiction is a band I know a name of, but I don't never heard a single song by them. I don't know if I.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Why not? Why not though?
Where have I?
I'm sure you've heard Been Caught Stealing at some point, like in a grocery store or something. I'm sure you've heard it.
Damn, man.
Jose, he's saying.
Wait.
Jose, you're missing out. He's talking about hearing, not listening to. Like, of course you heard it.
I don't. Yeah.
My bad.
Jose, look up Bone Thugs. Yeah, I know Bone Thugs in Harmony. I know that. Fuck. They asked Phil if they could sample.
You know that song "For the Love of Money"?
No,
good song. That's a solid song. You should look it up.
It is. It is ignorance. It is bliss.
I just want to congratulate everybody. We've successfully kept Jason on this live stream an hour longer than he wanted to be, and you all deserve that. You did that. You did.
And we're only halfway done.
I'm gonna leave, but I'll come back at 1 a.m. And if you guys
no, we're gonna end it. This is it. I want to thank my panelists: Stunty, Joel, Static ATX, Jose, Mr. Bong,
I need a
Groove Seeker. All right.
Here's my dog.
I want to thank everyone in the chat for, All
right. Remember
for joining us.
Right.
Yep, hit that like button, I suppose. It was really fun. Well, we'll see you next time. Peace.